This is a very passionate podcast. I'm Mario.
Super very passionate people. I'm very passionate.
Very, very passionate about it.
Very passionate people.
She's one of the most passionate people.
Or maybe you don't know shit and you want to learn from the best. Very passionate.
But welcome back to the show.
Hi guys. Welcome to the I Am Very Passionate podcast.
I'm Mario.
I'm Jessica.
And we're here to review some things today.
We're gonna catch up a little bit because, as you know, Mario and I no longer work in the same department anymore.
Yeah.
I'm across the way, so this is like my time to see Mario.
Mm-hmm.
How was your weekend, honey bun?
Boring as fuck.
No, don't say that.
Well, I work on weekends now, so
He's still on mandatory overtime, guys.
Yeah, so that's why I know we've been recording late. Jessica's really awesome about working or recording later than
I'm off
our normal
on Sundays,
time.
so why not?
I know, but you have kids to get ready for school on Monday.
No, but I'm off on Sundays. So I got up this morning. Oh my God, I told you I had a productive day, right? Mm-hmm. I got up this morning. Daniel and I studied. We finished his homework for the week. He just has 30 minutes left of online homework and he's done. He has a test tomorrow. He has a test Friday. We did everything this morning and it took 3 hours, but we knocked it out of the park.
That's what's up.
So I don't mind recording late because I'm here in the mornings. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Well, once mandatory overtime is over, we can probably go back to an earlier time.
Yeah, whatever you want. But I actually don't mind recording at 6. It doesn't bother me at all.
Okay, cool.
I'm pretty flexible, though. I'm a flexible person.
I try to be. It's just when work is forcing me to come in for ridiculous hours.
And it's so hard right now.
I've been trying to get myself through it by calculating how much money I'll be earning.
Yeah.
But, I'm sure more than half of it will be taken away with taxes. So I'm just
I'm trying to think what my overtime checks look like, but I don't think I worked 40 hours when I did overtime. My last check was really good though. But I worked 40 hours and then I did overtime.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tried to use my overtime to take up part of my vacation day that I took, and he's like, no, you have to use all your vacation for a day if you take a vacation day. And I was like, why?
Why?
He's like, you have to. I'm like, okay, whatever. Here you go.
I'm glad
Take
you
it.
gave it up then.
Yeah, I gave up today.
Yeah.
Because, there's no point in that. I'm just going to be wasting time since we're not doing anything special. And so I think, I calculated, I think I'm going to be getting, earning, $750 in the 30 hours of overtime they're mandating.
That's awesome.
But, I'm probably only going to see, 300 of it.
But that's going to look good on your taxes.
Will that, though? Because then I'll get less back taxes, I thought. Mm-mm. Because I thought if you do a lot of overtime, you don't get as much back in taxes. Mm-mm. Is that not true?
Well, it depends on how you
file.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
I don't claim anybody. I'm zero.
But the thing is you're giving so much money for your overtime that you have to get a portion of that back. So it's going to be another 20%. We can ask Kim's boyfriend to be sure because he knows all. He's so smart. He knows all that shit.
I'll ask her to ask him for me.
Yeah.
Because I want my money.
I hear you. I'm working overtime this week, too.
On Saturday, or?
No. I don't mind working overtime on Saturdays, but I have plans with my mother-in-law and sister-in-law this Saturday. We're going to go to the Tanger Outlets.
Oh, in Savannah? South Carolina?
No, it's between, Atlanta and Macon. It's 2 hours from here.
There's a lot of Tanger outlets. I think there's one near Dawsonville as well.
Yeah, there's a ton, but we're going to the one here. It's 2 hours from here.
Okay.
So I was just can I come in an hour early every day this week? Because the max that we can do is 5. And she was like, yeah, go for it. And so I feel really good because I'm technically not out of training.
Yeah?
I technically don't get out till October.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great. And you're working everything and doing what you're supposed to do?
Yeah, I really like it. I told Jane, I was like, I can't wait to go to work tomorrow.
Aww,
I really like it.
I'm glad you like it.
I'm glad I switched.
I miss having something to look forward to at work.
Well, I think you need a change.
I do. And I feel like one's coming. So.
If I was over it in a year and a half, I know that you have to be over it.
Oh, yeah. I've been over it for 4 years. But, I had a really cool supervisor who,
JT
was the best. Super chill and treated me right and made me want to work hard for him.
Yeah.
And so I was willing to stay and help him.
And it's hard with new leadership because everybody's different. Management styles are different. So it's time for a change.
Such is life, but I'm ready.
Good
I'm
for you.
Totally ready.
And he's got some things in the works, guys.
Hopefully. I'm pretty sure.
No, you definitely
I'm trying not to be too count my chickens before they hatch sort of thing.
Well, there was a whole bunch of thing at my job. We had a meeting about how a bunch of different positions are going to open up. So I think people are going to be moving from floor what I do to like mid-range supervisor, which means more positions will open up. And they made it sound like the shit was happening around the corner. And then I talked to my sister-in-law. She was like, no, a lot of changes are coming.
Oh.
So...
Don't get comfortable. No.
Well, I hope that means that I can move up. I realize I've only been there, but like people have been there longer than me, so I understand that too. But I wonder if there's more positions for you, because I genuinely think you would like this job.
Maybe.
I listen to my MP3 player all day, and I just research accounts. It is great.
My only fear is focusing, because I do have ADHD. So like with like our current job, I just have to wait until somebody needs me, and then I help. Whereas the other one, you have to constantly stay motivated to keep working.
Do you like being, like, not having stuff to do at work?
No, I don't.
Well, then that's why I like this job.
Okay.
It drives me crazy that I'd have to come in with book and crochets and, like, some days do my makeup and my hair.
I don't mind not having stuff to do. Like, I like talking.
That.
Because I sit next to my friend Christopher, and so I could literally talk to him all day.
Oh, they talk all fucking day.
We do talk all day.
Fucking day. If Mario doesn't respond to my message, it's because he's on the phone or talking to Christopher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good friend. He's cool.
I like Christopher a lot.
But on to hot topic, or our topics of the day. Also, actually...
Oh, I went to the Tri-City Latino Festival. It's my first one in 2 years as not a board member.
How was that? Did you feel good about it?
Yeah, I felt great about it. I think they're down a few more board members. I didn't realize because I'm completely self-obsessed. But it was great. Like, it was really beautiful. And, like, my kids... I don't know. Like, it's hard to explain. I told you my kids are more into, like, being Puerto Rican and stuff this year, and, like, they want to learn Spanish, and they want to go to Puerto Rico.
Oh, your mother-in-law must be so proud.
They both are. It's insane.
Oh, and your husband?
Oh, yeah, my husband totally loves it, because, you know, he rebelled when he was younger.
At 16, absolutely, baby, you can get a Puerto Rican flag tattoo. Let's go.
Oh, Daniel bought him a Puerto Rican flag while we were there. I was like, oh, my God. But, you know, a bunch of kids are playing in, like, a side lot, and Madeline got her face painted, which is a big deal for her, because we've never done it before, and she always wanted to do it. So last night was a milestone for her. And Madeline was like, Mommy, I'm done playing. I want to go back and listen to the music. And I was like, okay, cool, let's go. And so Madeline and I walked back to where, like, my whole family was, because it's a family event. My nephew was there, my mother-in-law was there, my father-in-law was there, my sister-in-law was there, and then all of our, like, mutual friends were together. And my daughter walks back, and at that point the sun had gone down, and so, like, the club lights were on, and it was the full band on stage because we were getting into the bigger acts. And she was like, oh my God, Mommy, it's just like a wedding, because we went to this really beautiful wedding that looked like a club.
Aww.
And she pulled everybody on the floor to go dance, and she just had, like, a great time. And my father-in-law and mother-in-law danced with her, and they picked her up so she could, like, see the people on stage. She's gonna be my club daughter, though. Like, I'm a little bit nervous. Like, I feel like
this is like your Selena, like, learning to dance.
She had such
at
a
the
great
fair
time
with her mom.
Yeah,
moment.
yeah. Daniel had a good time too. Daniel, my husband, always has a great time. He loves the festival. Danny had a good time too. He was really into, like, all the artifacts and the different countries, because the Tri-City Latino Festival isn't just music. There's actually a portion that you walk through that has, like, 15 or 16 countries represented in Latin America.
Oh.
So yeah, it's really cool. This is, like, the only educational Latino festival in the Southeast.
Wow.
So it's really cool. So you go through and you learn about different countries, and they have native speakers there because they're here with Fort Benning and WinSec. So you walk through and you can learn about the different countries and where they're on the map and, like, what their exports are and stuff like that. And then they do traditional dances throughout the day. It's really cool.
That sounds amazing.
No, it's totally
that sounds like going
thing.
to over in the Midwest. You can go to, like, Native American
it's just like
celebrations, and you can try their food and learn about their culture.
Yes,
it's very cool.
And the cool thing is with WinSec, which I don't remember, the World something, I can't remember.
It's like something school, and they get a protest every year.
Yeah.
Don't they get, like, protested every year?
Not anymore. Not since they changed the name.
Oh, really? That's it?
Yeah, that was it. Because they also changed, like, some of their tactics and stuff.
Oh,
anyway,
okay.
Canada,
so I remember those protests.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Canada is represented because we just honor, like, WinSec in general.
Speaking of Canada.
What?
Did you hear about Justin Trudeau?
No. Tell me about your angular face.
Oh, no, he's gorgeous, but he fucked up.
No, what did he do?
A photo of him in brown face came out.
No.
Yes.
Brown face, not black face?
He was like dressed up as Aladdin and, like, straight up brown face. in like 2001 for like a party. Yeah, like I was just like, fuck.
The same thing happened with that dancer.
What dancer?
Oh God, Julianne Hough. Do you remember?
Oh yes, when she was Crazy Eyes from Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the girl.
You don't have to have brown face to represent the character, guys.
Exactly. If you just did the hair,
yeah,
or if you just wore the outfit,
yeah,
we would get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's kind of getting a lot of shit right now, rightfully so.
Oh yeah. Oh, how long ago was it?
This was in 2001.
You know, it was more acceptable back then, though.
I get that, but it doesn't make it okay.
Well, it's not like he did it today.
It's just like saying with that Virginia guy who did it, the Virginia governor who did blackface in like the 50s, and the photos came out because it was in his yearbook.
I don't know. I feel weird.
And
about
so like
that.
They wanted him to resign. It's like, oof.
I don't know. I feel weird about things like that because it happened when people were not as politically aware.
Mm-hmm. And that's what Trudeau said.
Yeah, and I don't feel like... I mean, Trudeau is pretty fucking bomb. Mm-hmm. Like, he's a pretty...
He has his issues with some policies, but...
I mean, who doesn't?
Like, there's a whole... I'm pretty sure he doesn't acknowledge a lot of, like, First Nations people.
Oh.
And that's one of his big, like, downfalls, but no, he's cute. He just did brown face.
He's good for a sugar daddy moment.
Right.
I mean, has he apologized?
Yes, he did apologize.
Did it seem sincere?
I guess. I mean, I don't really know him to be able to judge like that. Like, it didn't seem fake. Like, it seemed like, okay, yeah, this is what I need to say, but also it's like it's what you should say. So I don't really know if he meant it or not.
We have to start giving people credit for that stuff, though.
Yeah. No, I saw a tweet about cancel culture.
What is it? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yeah.
Like, I live by that. I'll give anybody a second chance, but you're cut off after the second chance.
See, I thought you were going to quote Bush.
No.
Fool me twice. You're not going to fool me again.
I don't quote any of the Bushes.
But it was so
None
fucking
of the Bushes
stupid.
None of them. Yeah, like, people make mistakes. We fuck up. We do things in poor taste. Everybody's fucked up. I have fucked up so much in my, like, younger days, and I know that. I mean, never racially, but I was raised in a Hispanic home where my mom was, like, terrorized by gang races of New York, and I knew that growing up. So that's something that hit home for me. And one of my best friends growing up was gay in a city where nobody was out. So those things, no, I never made those mistakes, but I've done other fucked up things.
Yeah, totally. We've all said really awful things.
Yeah, we've all done things. I've embarrassingly enough, like, was so digmatized, I almost broke up a relationship, and I knew he had a girlfriend, and I am not about that life now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, we all fuck up. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
So, I'll give you another chance. I'll accept your apology.
Yeah.
I may sleep with one eye open, though.
Yeah, exactly. Never look at them the same way again.
Yeah, it changes your perception, but forgiveness is important.
Yeah.
It's for me. It's not for you.
But I did see this tweet, and there's somebody going against, like, cancel culture. It's like, God never cancels anyone. And then...
I'm so against cancel culture.
Do you know Mrs. Betty Bowers?
Yeah.
She replied, God canceled the first two humans, and then the rest of the human race with the flood. Learn your Bible.
I face planted into my bed. That's not what happened. Literally, that's not what happened. We can go back and discuss Big Bang. It's fine. You know, like, I hate
from a Bible
culture.
perspective, God did cancel them.
And only white, like, Christians are canceling culture.
No.
I'm not into cancel culture.
Like, I understand some of it.
It's my decision.
Absolutely, it is your decision, but I also will not support people or brands that...
I don't think that's cancel culture, though.
That is cancel culture.
No, cancel culture is like when people vindictively take sides over things. When I think cancel culture, I think like YouTube, social media.
Well, no, cancel culture is where you fuck up or make one mistake and everybody says, oh, we're done with them.
But that's been around forever. It's only cancel culture.
But now they've just given it a name.
No, I don't think it's the same thing. It's like people cancel culturing James Charles. I don't follow him anymore because I feel like...
But he did a fucked up thing and so people canceled him.
But I don't agree with that.
Yeah. But people have always been doing it. They just call it cancel culture now.
I don't like it.
Because it's so more apparent because people are more open about it.
So maybe we should just, like, cancel in our minds and our actions and not call it cancel culture. That term freaking, like, diminishes what should be happening. Does that make sense?
It can, but also a lot of people who are doing it aren't calling it or saying so-and-so's canceled.
I don't use the term cancel culture.
She just said it, y'all. Just
I don't use it in relation to, like, me unfollowing James Charles. I
Yeah.
just didn't like what he did to Tati, but that was my decision. I don't feel like I'm part of the cancel culture movement.
Mm-hmm.
I still follow Jeffree Star.
I don't follow Jeffree Star.
He's never followed Jeffree Star.
I did. I was a fan of him when he was doing MySpace music. And he was like a super, like, it was very, like, punk rock,
I didn't
gay.
know him. I didn't know him.
Like, fuck you, I'm gay and I'm proud of it. And yeah, I'm gonna sleep with your fucking boyfriend and whatever. And like, it was super trashy in hindsight. I was just like, I kind of cringe. But at the same time, it was like, it was nice to see somebody so open about their gayness and like embracing it. And so I appreciated that about him.
Okay.
And then all the racist shit came out.
What if you did like one fucked up thing? Like it definitely was messed up, and all of a sudden,
but
people
it's
just,
not
like,
one fucked up thing
you.
with him.
No. In general, canceled culture.
Well, no, and I get that in regards to
Like,
cancel
what if
culture.
people just like shunned you?
No, I understand.
You deserve everyone deserves forgiveness.
And I get that. I agree. But if it is a series of consistent mistakes over and over, then yeah, I'm not fucking with you.
I still agree with you there, but I feel like cancel culture is almost trigger finger.
Well,
like,
now
if
it is.
You do one fucked up thing, they're like, "Oh, fuck you."
Yeah, no, that's true. And
so
I don't agree with that aspect
I
of
hate
it.
that.
But at the same time, if somebody has a history of doing things like Jeffree Star with his history of racism and derogatory comments towards women of color, referring to them as rats and roaches, then yeah, I don't want to support that. Like there's a difference between, oh yeah, he said the N-word one time on tape, whereas he has a history of just saying racist like comments like that, you know?
Yeah.
And I understand he may have moved on, he may have learned, but I still don't want to support him.
I get it. And I think that's a responsible use of the term cancel culture.
Okay.
But like when people do one fucked up thing, like they better not cancel Justin Trudeau.
Yeah.
Like that's...
Well, I think it's going to affect him in the polls because they have an election this year.
Oh.
So you know somebody dug this shit up.
That's so messed up, though. Everybody fucks up, though. I don't get it. I don't know. Forgiveness, man.
Now, speaking of elections...
Let's do it. He's so excited
I'm
to talk about
so
this guy.
excited. So, our girl Liz, she is the number...
Warren, if you're tuning in for the first time. Which
She's
this
our
is
Judy.
not the episode to tune in for the first time, too. Please go back to episode 1.
You don't have to listen to chronologically, in my eyes. She's very much, I have to listen from the beginning.
Right. I'm sorry for forcing my OCD on you.
That's very much a Jessica
It's fine. That's so me.
So our girl Liz is currently the number one Democratic polling candidate in Iowa, which is a huge fucking swing state.
Nope, that's the one. That's the one that she wants.
She's 2 points ahead of Biden and like way ahead of Bernie. So like those are the top 3 right now, and she's leading. At least there. So I feel like she's just going to surge slowly. She's going to slowly build. She's going to show people she knows what the fuck she's talking about. She has a plan. And people are like going to be like, you know what? Yeah, I can get behind her. That's my hope.
I want a not Warren Biden. I want a Warren Bernie ticket so bad.
I would love that, but I don't think that's electable because
Bernie,
he's too left. She's very left.
She's left, but
she's more middle of the
Yeah.
way than left, whereas he's way left. She's actually a Democrat.
Yeah.
Whereas he is a Democratic socialist.
Yeah.
And so I think
Which I respect the shit
if they
out of.
had her, she would need to bring in someone like Julian Castro, or so a man, potentially a man of color, and a more moderate man to balance out the ticket.
I thought we didn't like Castro.
I don't really care for him either, but he'd be a smart choice for her.
Yeah.
Or even Cory Booker, unfortunately. But another great thing, if Cory Booker does not raise $2 million within the next week, he's out.
Yes, bye Booker.
I know, I want him gone.
Bye Booker.
But Booker is very much like the face of the old Democratic Party that was very monetarily motivated.
Yeah, they gotta
Whereas
go.
like this new wave of Tulsi and Bernie and Elizabeth, they're like, okay, no, I don't want your super PAC money. He's very much the face of that super PAC money.
That's so smart because the super PAC is what's like fucking up laws and lobbying and all that. Hold on, I'm gonna get peanut butter in a minute.
Oh, okay, girl, you do it. You do it.
I'm hungry. I'm gonna shake some out because I know how much it bothers you.
Oh, well, it's fine. Just don't on the recording and we're good.
Do you want any?
I'm good. Thank you. Because I know I will make chewing noises.
Oh, I don't. No, I'm a quiet eater.
Okay, if you guys hear anything, send all your complaints to Jessica and not to me.
Don't. He's going to text me as soon as he's editing, and he's going to be like, I heard all you're doing.
No, I'm going to be like, you have to edit this episode. I can't handle it. It grosses me out. It's one of my biggest pet peeves.
They melt in your mouth. It's fine.
Oh, sure.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I think somebody who's more moderate, just like, that's why Hillary's VP pick did not make sense to me, because Tim Kaine is such a boring politician. He doesn't inspire anybody. He is very moderate, and he's a man, but Hillary was the moderate candidate. She needed a left-leaning candidate to balance out her ticket. And so Elizabeth, if she clenches it, she would need a Biden or a Booker or a Castro or even a Beto or a Buttigieg to balance her out, because they are more moderate.
I'm going to be completely irresponsible here and be like, okay, I'll do a Warren Buttigieg just because of Christopher. I know how much he likes him.
He doesn't like him much anymore.
Why?
I don't think. Like, he hasn't been talking about him as much as before. I think he's more intrigued by Elizabeth Warren, and I hope.
As we all are.
But, Buttigieg has some
messed up things.
I don't agree with all his views, and I don't want to elect him for being to be the first gay president just because he's gay. Like, I want to agree with all his views. And
smart.
This bitch just went and separated her M&Ms by color so she can eat them by color.
Did you not know that about me?
No. How do you eat them at the movies? Do you have to pick each?
That is the bag from the movie. I couldn't finish it because it was bothering me.
Oh my
God. This is the bag I took.
Oh my gosh.
I have to separate. Okay, I am OCD and I have anxiety.
Are you like J-Lo and you only eat the brown ones?
No, I love that movie so much. That's a good movie. I like that romantic comedy.
The Wedding Planner? Mm-hmm. I thought you didn't like The Wedding Planner.
I do like The Wedding Planner.
I'm pretty sure that did not make the list of my suggested movies. One day we went through, because she does not like romantic comedies.
Did I confuse that for the one with Julia Roberts? Because I do get things confused.
Runaway Bride?
No. The other one, My Best Friend's Wedding?
Maybe you did.
I didn't like that one.
They might be making a sequel.
And I like Julia Roberts, though.
I love Julia Roberts.
But all of her, crime stuff, though. Anyway.
I was really disappointed with My Best Friend's Wedding, but I didn't see it when it came out. I saw it as an older person, and I was like, this is really disappointing. Oh, yeah. I wanted her to get with Dermot Mulroney.
Maybe that's why.
And then he ended up with, what's-her-face? Cameron Diaz, and I was just like,
Who was not cute there. Her eyebrows are too thin. I have to separate any small candies of color.
Segregation is not the answer.
I know it's not. But I have to separate them, and I also eat them by twos. So I separate them into their color groups.
But what if there's an odd number?
Then I just eat it and get it over with.
Okay.
And then I enjoy the rest of it. And then I try to eat it Roy G. Biv as best as possible.
Wow.
Yeah. OCD is a real problem. So excuse me while I eat my 2 peanut butter M&Ms that are red, because I'm starting with red.
Oh, okay. Good. And then she's going to move on to orange, then blue.
Green.
Oh, yeah, green, then blue.
And then brown.
Okay.
Because it's not on the list.
Bless them.
And if there was licorice in here, I would just eat only the licorice.
Disgusting. I still can't believe she eats licorice.
I love licorice. We could probably hear that.
Who eats candy to get a sore throat, you know?
I don't get a sore throat.
My mouth is raw after I eat licorice. Are you kidding? It's so astringent.
That's a Native American shit. My family's from England. We grew up on licorice, damn it. I still have a bag of it in my...
Of licorice from Amanda?
Mm-hmm. I ate the other one. It was gone. And I was like, hide it from yourself.
Oh my gosh.
I'm terrible. Anyway, we're excited about Warren.
I really hope she clenches it. I was reading today at work because there was nothing else to fucking do. And they were saying that her number one hurdle is probably healthcare, because she wants to completely dismantle Obamacare and just provide a whole, Medicare for all. As opposed to not a good majority. I think it's 56% of Americans, or at least of Democratic Americans, want to build on the Affordable Health Care Act, but also build on Medicare.
I'm done building on things.
Yeah, I just think we need a brand new system. I agree. But that's what she wants. Another thing I'm really intrigued with her is she wants to do student loan forgiveness, which I think is a great thing, and I think that will get a lot of millennial voters for her. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. I'm really excited. Elizabeth, we're rooting for you. I'm rooting for you.
This is a dream of Mario's.
Oh my gosh. I want a female president, and I don't just want a female president for the sake of a female president. I want a female president who knows what the fuck she's doing, and Elizabeth Warren knows what the fuck she's doing. Mm-hmm. And I think she has the youth vote, or she'll get the youth vote at least. Because I was looking at polls, and Bernie, of course, is pulling more in the youth than she is. But I think if Bernie were to eventually pull out, all of his people would flock to Elizabeth because they're similar enough. They're very close friends. Mm-hmm. And they have not gone after each other this entire time because they know they can't have another repeat of what happened last time.
That's right.
And she's probably his biggest competition after Biden. So we'll see what happens. I'm so excited. I really, really hope this isn't like a Kamala Harris flash in the pan and now she's nobody again. I really think Elizabeth Warren has staying power. I think her views are going to help most people. And I'm just really excited.
After the debate, I wasn't about it.
About Kamala?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Well, after Tulsi went after her, I was just like, whoa.
I had an issue with her first attack against Biden. I just thought it wasn't... Okay, it wasn't an attack. I mean, it's fine. It was very... it's something I would consider to be just, like, unprofessional. Mm-hmm. And I don't see Warren doing that. And I don't see... when they go low, we go high.
Yeah,
and it wasn't the first part of it. Like, I felt she was so justified in the first part of it. It was the second part of it where she, like, kept that knife in. At that point, it felt disingenuous.
She got him good, though.
She did.
I mean, that's politics, girl.
I don't like it. I don't think politics should be like that.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the name of the game. You gotta play the game.
But Warren and...
But she is playing the game. She's going after Trump.
The way that... Everyone should be going after Trump. First of all, as disgusting as he is. But you have to admit that Warren has a more... she's more noble about her endeavors.
I agree.
Because it's about going in and making change. It's not... And that's what it should be about. Not attacking other people so that you look better. Yep. If you're that good, you shouldn't have to attack other people.
You shouldn't. Absolutely.
And so Kamala got her moment, and I agree with her moment. She definitely... deserved to say what she needed to say to Biden. He directly impacted her life. Mm-hmm. But after the second part of it, I believe that there was a more professional, noble, less emotional way to handle it. And that's all I'll say about it.
Okay.
Go ahead. Why did you get excited?
Speaking of Trump, did you hear about this whole Ukraine debacle?
Nope. I have not, because I don't have to read the news at work anymore.
I guess I'm just going to be your news source from now on. So, he apparently met with the Ukrainian president a while ago and encouraged him to look in on
I did see this.
look into Joe Biden's son. Mm-hmm. I don't know what Joe Biden's son did. I don't really know that whole situation. I just know
they're not close.
Joe Biden and his son? Mm-hmm. Oh, really? I did not know that. Mm-hmm. But I know he's doing it to encourage them to bring out dirt, just in the same way Russia brought out dirt on Hillary or whatever.
Which is so stupid.
But he openly admitted to doing it. Yeah. So this could, if they have proof of everything, mm-hmm. this is an impeachable offense. Yes. Outright unquestionable.
There have been 15,000 impeachable offenses.
And then there's another thing where Trump. Oh, God.
I'm scared because I'm starting to believe that he can't be touched.
I think that's my fear too. And that's why I think we have to get him out of office.
Unless he declares martial law.
God, don't.
That's Jamie's biggest fear.
That's a big fear of mine too.
Jamie's fear the day he got elected, she told me. She was like, he's going to declare martial law.
How is Jamie?
She's good. She actually is back in Columbus. For those of you that don't know, my lesbian bestie, got a tick-borne illness in Mississippi and was very, very sick for almost 6 weeks. She couldn't eat. She couldn't drink. She threw up all the time. All she could do was sleep. And when they finally figured out what was wrong, she had to go back to Mississippi to stay with her parents and get better. She is now back in Columbus, which I'm very happy about. And she's doing well, and she's eating a little bit here and there. She's working half days. That's all she has the strength for right now. But it looks like she's going to make a full-blown recovery. So
thank goodness.
Yeah. So, my Jamie boo. I love me. I love me some Lesty Jamie.
She should come to the next Finer Things.
Oh, I'm waiting. I can't wait for her to go.
Hopefully she has enough energy.
Yeah. That's the only reason, because I feel like if I ask her, she'll be like, I want to go, but I'm so tired and I'll have to leave. And I usually pick her up and bring her with me. Oh. So, I don't know. I'm letting her get her strength back. I'm not trying to run over there and see her and, impede on her. She's very close with her twin sister and their kids, so I don't know. I don't want to pressure, because Jamie will feel bad. Yeah. If I'm come see me, spend time with me, she'll drop what she's doing to do that, and I know it's just no time for that.
Well, get well soon, Jamie.
I love you, Jamie.
Oh. No, so the other thing was apparently there was a study that came out that was 100% of all terrorist acts, homegrown terrorist acts in America were done by white supremacists. And, like, the Trump administration, like, the FBI found this out. Like, that was their study. And the Trump administration stopped them from releasing this.
If you tell me there's a KK member over encouraging ISIS to do things, I'm going to lose my fucking shit.
No. Just what they're calling homegrown terrorism
Homegrown terrorists. I missed that part. Like, I completely blacked out. Okay. No, it's fine.
So pretty much
100%.
all these, it's all been white supremacists.
Mm-hmm.
And the Trump administration worked to block this from being released. Exactly.
I wonder why. Does it make you look bad, Mr. President?
It does. I don't call him Mr. President.
No, I'm calling him Mr. President because it's not about him. It's about that title.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you see that people were giving, when the tornado blew through and he went through and he saw victims in the hospital? The really bad tornado in Alabama.
No.
Yeah, so he came down and people were saying, there's a really, really terrible tornado in Alabama, and it reached over to us too. Some homes are destroyed here. A lot of trees were messed up here. Some communities were messed up. I don't know, but it was my last panic attack. Okay. I know that was my last one. Anyway, he came down to survey the damage because he declared it a national emergency. And
but fuck Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. We don't need you. Boricua, motherfucker. People were giving shit to the victims that he went to visit in the hospital. And I thought about that. Me, as a political person, as a half-brown person, technically I consider myself whole brown, but if I'm being politically correct, I'm half-brown. I wouldn't want Trump to come see me.
I would not either, no. I wouldn't need him.
But there were people who did not vote for him that did welcome him to the hospital. Because the thing is like, this goes beyond Trump. This goes beyond any president that holds office because it's not really the person, it's the office. Mm-hmm. And I put myself in their shoes. I'm big on that. The leader of the free world wants to come express his condolences. You feel like somebody important cares about you. And it's because of the title that office holds. And that's how some people view it. And I understand. And I respect the shit out of that. Again, military family. I get it.
Mm-hmm. I still wouldn't let him come see me.
But you and I are completely different. But there are people that don't feel as strongly as we do, but also did not vote for him.
Yeah.
That would be like the president.
Well, also, he's not the leader of the free world anymore. Angela Merkel is.
Oh, that's true. But still, before that.
Yeah.
Before that. It's what the title represents. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important to also remember. We talk about Trump, but it's not really Trump. Like, eventually he'll be gone. It's about the title. I really believe that if he declared martial law, people would declare him criminally insane. I believe that.
I would hope.
Martial law has
But at the same time, look at what the Republicans do. He has done so much terrible shit. And it's not that big of a deal. It's fine. But if Obama would have done that, they would have had him on a freaking stake.
I think a full-on revolution would happen if he declared martial law and nobody did anything about it.
I'd hope. I don't know.
I think so.
Because the Republicans are the ones with all the guns.
I've got one too, and I'm not Republican, so I don't know.
Well, yes, but statistically speaking,
sure,
more often than not, it's going to be a Republican who has a gun.
Well, I'll be joining that damn fight then, sir. Look out,
La Femme Nikita over here.
You better not declare martial law.
Oh my gosh.
You're going to cause a full-grown civil war. Yeah,
I think so, and I think we'd be on the wrong side living here in the South. Like, I'd have to move.
I'd go down swinging. All I care about is that my kids see me.
We're going to have to escape to fucking Canada.
I'm not going to Canada.
Gilead's coming, mama.
Oh. Then I'm going to be a Martha, because I ain't having no more kids, and I ain't telling anybody about my Mirena, and I'm just going to leave it in.
They're going to check for it, I'm sure. I'm sure they check.
I mean, I'd probably kill myself.
Oh, God.
Let's not
talk about this anymore.
If I had to live in Gilead, absolutely.
Well, yeah.
And I'd fight back and make sure my children saw it. Oh, let somebody take my kids away from me.
She'd go down swinging.
Oh, my God.
Even though she didn't want them at the first time. I'm joking.
Well, Daniel's a man, though.
What?
So maybe he would get to keep his kids.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be awful. We shouldn't be hoping for this.
We gotta vote, guys. We gotta vote.
We need to go, guys.
Change the subject, Mario.
Okay.
freaking me out. Gilead in Canada.
Do we have a Lizzo moment for this week?
I do not have a Lizzo moment for this week. Okay. I have not been on social media as much because...
Of work. And exhaustion.
Yeah, work takes a lot out of me. It's a good thing. But I do get to listen to, like, murder podcasts all day.
That's good.
Hey, did you try those links I sent you?
To convert... Yes, I did it to convert music.
How was it?
It worked great.
Yeah. What about your podcast?
Well, I can just use iTunes to put podcasts, but I don't listen to podcasts on my little iPod because it takes up too much space. So I just listen to my podcast on my phone.
Mine has an external, like I can do a...
Oh, yeah. I have, like, an old school iPod Nano, so it doesn't work that way.
I have music on my phone as a backup.
I mainly do audiobooks.
I haven't figured out how to do that yet.
Oh, well, I don't know how well an audiobook would work. It depends on the formatting, because usually I think M4A is, like, an Apple one, but that's what a lot of, like, Audible formatted audiobooks are. Or M4B, rather.
Well, I know that if I get Audible, I can do it. I'm looking at it. I don't know. I'm not into the books right now. I'm really into podcasts. A new podcast just came out about the Zodiac Killer, by the way.
Oh.
And I downloaded, like, the first...
Is it good?
6... Yeah, it's really good.
What's it called?
I have to look it up on my MP3 player.
Okay.
I will after the... Well, I guess I should plug it, right?
Yeah, plug it. Do it, bro. Because we're going to forget about it.
Oh, for sure. What I like about this podcast, is that they actually go back and interview police chiefs, people who actually had, like, brief encounters with him, victims that are still alive.
Oh, how cute.
It's called Monster, Zodiac.
Oh.
Monster, Zodiac Killer. I've listened to the first 3 episodes, and so far I really, really like it. Just because they are, like, interviewing people, husbands whose wives were killed when they were having affairs, police chiefs, the guy at the newspaper that got the original Zodiac letters, like, he's on it.
Wow.
So it's really, really good. He talks about, like, opening the letter for the first time. The people who figured out the very first cipher, they're on it. Like, their kid is on it. And they're like, I remember sleeping and hearing all these negative words like kill, murder, God made me do it. Like, it's really good. It's very well produced.
Who produced it?
I'd have to listen to it again.
Is it like a major?
It is.
Okay.
It is. Yeah, and then they have
NPR or
It's
CBC?
not NPR. I think it's CBC.
Okay.
I'll double check.
They've been killing it.
No, it's such a good I'm really, really enjoying it. And I also, because I have more time now to listen, I have another podcast I've been listening to, but I've had to stop. Crime Junkie. Like, everybody raves about Crime Junkie, so I've given them a chance. I have discovered that without humor, it makes my anxiety go up at work.
Oh.
So Crime Junkie is very, like, can you believe this happened? And dulcet tones. And it's like, and like, if they talk about kids, like, I feel my heart racing and pounding. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to pop back over to my favorite murder.
The comedy really does help.
The comedy
levity
helps. I'm so into crime. And if it's just me reading about it, like, it feels controlled and it feels good. But, like, if you have someone who's just as emphatic telling it to you, you start to envision things. And, oh my God, it's just really, really bad.
Understandable.
So Crime Junkie is good, but if you have anxiety, I do not recommend it. Stick with my favorite murder.
Did she at least has she done a John Bonet episode? Because I'll listen to any John Bonet.
I've been picking episodes here and there because I don't like the unsolved ones, so I don't listen to those.
Understandable.
But so I'll have to go back and see if there's a John Bonet one.
I love me a good John Bonet.
I'll let you know. I'll find it and I'll let you know because I do like that one. So Jensen and Holes is really good on the Exactly Right Network, which is Karen and George's. It's really, really good.
That's Paul Holes, right?
It is Paul Holes. It's so good.
And Paul Holes is the man who solved the
he's part of the team.
Yeah. He's one of the big people of the Golden State Killer case. Yeah,
they cracked it kind of wide open. Jensen and Holes is really good. I'm really into podcasts right now. It really helps my day. And yeah, that's all of them. I went to go check Unqualified because I haven't listened to it in a while. And
with Anna Faris?
Yeah.
It just wasn't there anymore?
It's there. It's just not, like, people I want to listen to. I always kind of cherry pick.
Yeah. If it's not somebody I care about, I don't want to listen. That's the same with me with The Breakfast Club. I love The Breakfast Club.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But if it's not somebody I wanted to listen to, I don't listen.
I don't know if you care, but the one with Lena Headey was really good on Unqualified.
Oh.
Really, really good.
Like Cersei?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's kind of like a dry, sarcastic bitch, and I was living for it.
She was on RuPaul's Drag Race once.
Live for her. I don't know why.
She's cool. She's cool as fuck.
Yeah, she's good.
But
she's really interesting to listen to.
Welcome to Night Vale. Give it a chance. It's so weird.
What?
Welcome to Night Vale.
Is that a...
It's that surrealist podcast that I told you about.
Oh, I don't know,
where they're
Mario.
in the desert.
I don't know it. Like, at work, I don't know if I can do it.
They're literally 10 minutes long.
Like, I can do it.
Chance the first episode.
I'll try. I'll try when I'm not at work. How about that? I'll commit to that.
It's fun. It's silly. It's cute. Like, I love their Facebook posts because they're always just so weird and absurd. But
at work, I don't know that I can handle that. I might feel like I'm on an acid trip. Trying to be, like, really serious. I don't know. I'll listen to it, but I'm not at work.
Okay.
So this week, we, Mario and I are going to be talking about two things that we watched. He picked one, I picked one.
Whoa. We both agreed to go see It Chapter 2, okay? Don't blame this on me.
Mario picked one, and I picked one.
You stop that.
We went and saw It Chapter 2, and then we also, both on our own time, watched Chelsea Handler's white privilege documentary called Hello Privilege, It's Me, Chelsea. And those are the things we're going to talk about today. Do you know the order you want to go in?
I think I want to do It Chapter 2 first.
Okay.
And then go into that. Because I feel like...
And you know what? If it doesn't work out that way, guys, if it switches for whatever one's longer or shorter, just, hang in there. We're playing it loose and fast today.
We'll see. But I'm pretty sure it'll be that order.
No, let's get into it next.
All right. Well, that'll be back in just a second.
Do. So Mario and I took a brief intermission.
So we could go look at Tommy Lee's dick pic on Instagram.
Apparently, it's got a filter on it.
Well, it's like a blur filter, so like you can see the size. It's pixelated. It's just like back in the day, and when they would blur something, it's just like little boxes.
Like what it was
of color,
real sex, like that. Well,
oh my god, I used to watch Real Sex.
Oh yeah, Daniel did too. I love it.
Like my parents didn't know I knew the password for
Mario was just
the parental guide.
Boy, yeah.
It was my mom's birth year. It was not hard to guess. Yeah. That's how I watched Logo as well. Yeah. And so I was like, oh my god, like what's real sex? Let's look into it. And I was like, oh my gosh, now I'm sexually actualized at 13, like
because of real sex.
Yeah. And it's like,
you can't...
a man with a manicured hand is the sign of a sexually trained man. Like at 13,
people are so stupid. Anyway, we looked at it. The pixelation is like super pink.
Yeah,
it's like bubblegum pink.
It is bright pink.
I hope it's fake because I'm not into a pink.
It could be like a dildo. Like she's just holding it up and then you took a picture.
Oh, I really hope so because that's really fucking.
Because that's really pink, and I don't remember it being that pink in the sex tape. It was more brown.
I never saw the sex tape.
You never saw it, girl. Where were you in the 90s?
Sheltered.
You were in college.
Crazy.
No, you weren't.
No, I was not.
I'm joking. I'm sorry.
But by an over-obsessed mother. Sheltered.
So, moving forward from Tommy Lee's dick.
When did I see my first dick?
I saw mine when I was first born.
I think... Oh my god. I think when I first paid attention to a dick was probably when I lost my virginity. I'd seen one before then. So I was in college.
Okay.
So I kind of didn't pay attention to it. I just put my mouth on it.
Oh. Just suck on this big piece of flesh.
Why not?
Don't look at it.
My first was uncircumcised.
Oh.
Not like my first well, I didn't lose it to an uncircumcised person.
But your first blowjob was to it?
Yeah.
How was that?
I guess I didn't realize it was an issue.
Is it? I don't think it is.
I don't think it is. I think back then it was.
I still, no, I've seen online, some girls are still freaked out by it. And I'm like, it's a flap of skin. I
enjoyed it because
you can play with it.
Yeah, you didn't need to use, lubrication because it was, its own, up and down thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine.
Swirl your tongue around in it,
Yeah, exactly. Mario gets it.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Uncircumcised sugar daddies, please send us an email.
Please.
I am very passionate podcast.
We need at least 300 a week, though.
He's willing to send feet pics.
Totally.
And pixelated dick pics.
Oh, sure. Yeah, with this new Instagram feature, of course.
Oh, Instagram.
So, we saw It Chapter 2, and when we say saw, I mean I saw, and Brooke hid, or rather, Jessica hid in Brooke's tits for half the movie. And vagina. Oh my god.
Val called me and she was like, is this true? And I was like, yes!
Told Val, and I couldn't stop laughing. So Miss Thing was
I have to tell you that
anxious.
That morning, I think I messaged you on Skype and was like, I'm really nervous.
I don't understand why. It wasn't a scary movie.
But it's really jumpy.
There were 3 jumpy parts.
No, I jumped like 85 times.
I don't know. I think usually...
I'm too old. I think I'm too old.
I don't know.
Serious.
I'm usually so tense and freaked out about things. But I've read the book, so I knew what to expect.
I heard people laughing and immediately got pissed off that they were getting enjoyment out of the thing that was bringing me so far down.
That was me.
Yeah.
That was me laughing the whole time. I
had every emotion you could think of under the sun.
She was so pissed off at me for half of that movie.
I was super mad. And Brooke and I kept joking that we were going to leave and go get drinks. And I was like, I have to fucking review this shit for the goddamn podcast.
Doing it for the pie.
I was doing it for the pie. I was mad, though. So at one point, I moved the hand rest. I don't remember the point, but I knew that I needed Brooke. And Brooke sat between
that was like
me
10
and
minutes in the
Mario.
fucking movie.
Shut up, Mario.
It was during the game matching scene.
I'm too old for this shit. That's what it is. I literally put Brooke's arm around me and buried my face in her boobs, which were extremely comfortable, by the way. Of course,
they're big double Ds. What do you expect?
I don't know. I don't rest on mine.
Oh. Yeah.
I don't rest on mine. But Brooke,
you never rest your head on your mom's chest when you were a kid?
No.
Oh. Well, I mean, you don't have that relationship.
Right. And then my grandmother, hers were big and saggy by the time, I thought about cuddling, and she got a boob job.
Oh, work.
She got hers taken out, but I think it was 12 or 13. So, no, I don't have these nuzzling breastfeeding experiences.
Well, I didn't nuzzle. I just leaned against it.
No. My kids are into it, though. They're all about my boobs. They both like to, hug and snuggle and get in there. So that was my first experience. So there was a positive thing that came out of it.
Totally.
But at one point, it was way too much. I knew the spider head was coming. Mm-hmm. And I went straight for Brooke's vagina. And
she was in there,
and I
too.
just knew that was the safest place for me to look, that I could cover my ears, because I didn't want to hear scurrying sounds.
Brooke's eye twitched if she was in there, so too.
Oh, shut up. But here's the thing, is that I'm clearly having a moment, and Mario goes, "Are you eating her out?" And I was like, so my smart ass goes, "If it keeps me from watching this movie, absolutely." I'm telling you, if I could have climbed in her vagina, I would have for the rest of that goddamn movie.
It wasn't that bad.
I didn't like it.
I loved it.
I don't like being... it was a good movie. I'm not going to say that. I think that I have too much anxiety.
She was anxious as fuck. She screamed thrice.
I screamed 8 times. I have anxiety. I'm a super jumpy person. My husband was not there with me. Uh-huh. He's a comfort blanket. My husband
wasn't there with me either.
You know what? Both of our husbands can just go fucking choke. He went to a baby shower for dudes.
A doobie shower.
And I was like, "Please come with me." And he was like, he said, "Nah." I was like, "You always told me that if I really wanted you to go to something, all I can do is ask." He was like, "Honestly, everything you've asked me to do, I would at least consider. I'm not interested in seeing this." Oh. I just think I have too much anxiety. I think I'm older now, and it's harder for me to recover from scary movies. I should have known that my sister-in-law and my best friend Kim were not into it. I would have preferred being sandwiched between you and Brooke. However, that was not the case.
Why didn't you ask?
I didn't want to seem like a baby.
Girl, who cares?
It's fine. So let's talk about the movie. If you have anxiety, if you need a security blanket to watch a scary movie, if you have to watch a scary movie in broad daylight with a little bit of wine to make sure that you're not freaking out, do not go see it in the movie. It is still a really good movie. I thought about this in depth after we saw it. It is a good movie. My anxiety took over.
Yeah, and I do want to start off by saying this is your spoiler warning.
Oh,
because
for sure.
we are going to be talking in depth about this movie. And
spoiler alert, I climbed into Brooke's vagina.
And trigger warning, we are going to be talking about a gay bashing.
I think that was probably the worst part of it.
That was the worst part
and
of it. And
domestic violence. Let's not forget those people. If you have a sensitivity to gay bashing in a horror movie sense, if you have sensitivity to domestic violence in a horror movie sense, cutting, because there were some scenes about that, suicide, maybe click out, come back when we talk about Chelsea Handler.
Yeah. Just fast forward
this was a pretty
45
heavy
minutes.
Movie for trigger warnings.
It was a very heavy... I was honestly...
I think that was what set the tone for the movie for me.
I was fucking triggered by that scene. So, the movie opens with the gay bashing of Adrian Mellon.
Opens.
That's the opening.
The first 6 minutes.
Is you watch this gay guy and his boyfriend at the Derry Fair, and some people from Derry attack them and throw Adrian Mellon... Well, they beat Adrian Mellon. His face is bloody and broken, and they throw him over the bridge, and Pennywise gets him and kills him.
I mean, I would like to say
it was super fucking disturbing.
It was very, very disturbing, but I think also super political because it was a kid who started the gay bashing, which I think is important to know that ignorance is taught. It's not something that you grow up doing. A kid makes a derogatory homophobic comment. They basically get sassy, as the gay people do, which I live for because it was pretty funny.
It was. There was a lot of Meg Ryan references in this movie.
There were. But when they leave, I don't mean... Like, there's gay bashing in films, and then there's, like, horror films which do not hold back.
This did not
not hold back. I had to cover my eyes. I thought I was going to cry.
I almost cried, too.
It was really bad.
Like, I've read the book, and in the book, this happens, and this is actually based off a real thing that happened, because when he was writing the book, in the town he was in, a gay guy was killed in a very similar manner, by getting beaten. And so, like, I knew it was coming. I would like to say I
genuinely enjoy Stephen King.
And...
Although Dreamcatcher was not good.
Or the one with the cat people.
I like that one.
What is it called? The mom and the dad here, the mom and the son who had like the incestuous relationship.
I like that one.
That was so weird.
Incest, that's my thing.
Oh well, yeah, okay, Miss Lucy Andrews.
I don't mind incest in a horror film.
Although the actor who played the son was cute, the blonde guy.
Okay.
Chiseled faces, girl. Chiseled faces.
Yes.
But
it's they hold nothing back. They don't pan away from it. You actually see skin to skin contact. You hear it.
You see like his face breaking open, and
it's really bad. I particularly am not fond of violence, period. I grew up in a violent home. I grew up with a lot of like verbal, mental, physical abuse. I don't like things like that. I'm not into it.
Right.
So things like that are hard for me to take, period. To see a gay couple, that was hard. I just went to like a Pride event, like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, then, as a gay person who has been gay bashed,
right?
I was like, I knew it was coming, but I was caught off guard with how gruesome it was.
It's very gruesome,
and that's what I heard. I heard it was the most gruesome scene in the entire movie, and I was like, it can't be. It can't be.
No.
Oh my fucking god, it was.
Yeah.
And I also really liked the parallels because there's a lot of gay coding in the first movie for Eddie being gay.
True.
Which it ends up being Richie that was the gay one. Although we don't know if Eddie was gay or not. We don't. But
they did not. I don't think that was important. I don't think they needed to touch on that.
Well, it was very much the same way in the book and in the movies. They've never said that the dad molested Beverly, but the dad molested Beverly. It's heavily implied.
And physically
so there was a lot of heavily implications of the book with Eddie, that Eddie was gay.
Yeah.
And so I think there was also parallels with him and his inhaler, comparing to Eddie and his inhaler. And so, like, I don't know, it was very reminiscent of that.
The scene he's talking about, while he's getting his ass kicked, he tries to pull out his inhaler and they literally kick it out of his hands and then continue to beat
the shit out of
him. And they also throw him over a bridge into the water. So this is the first thing you get. And this, like, it's gory, it's horrific, it's hard to watch. And then Pennywise comes on the scene. There's a beautiful scene. It was beautiful.
What, with the balloons?
All the red balloons. And then you're just catching glimpses of Pennywise. I thought it was very well shot.
I agree. No, I completely agree.
This movie is very well directed. This movie is very well shot. It has some beautiful horror scenes in it. Like, if you are a horror film person, I think it's good.
Yeah, the CG was good for the most part.
I thought it was really good.
The only thing that took me out of it was Finn Wolfhard's face. So, Richie Tozier as a young boy... those films were filmed 2 years after they filmed the first one. So they had to go back and CG his face to look younger. And his face has changed drastically.
Very much
in those 2 years.
If you're a stranger.
So if you look at his eyes, they're fucking huge. And his nose
is...
No. There's certain scenes that they recycled from the first movie. Mm-hmm. And then there's scenes where they show him, like the scenes in the arcade. His eyes are about 30% larger in the ones where they changed it. I didn't notice. And his nose is a little bit smaller. And it's something I noticed, like, right off the bat, because it just proportionally looked weird.
I don't notice stuff like that much.
But that was really the only jarring thing for me. Other than that, the graphics were amazing. All the horror scenes were pretty good.
It has humor.
It had a lot of humor. It was a very funny movie. I
was very salty about it. I didn't want people laughing while I was trying not to have panic attacks. But, I mean, the next scene...
it opens and...
What's his name?
Mike?
No, the one that calls everybody back.
Mike.
Oh, it's Mike. Yeah. Sorry. Stranger Things moment.
Sorry.
Yeah. Mike runs down to the bridge where he was thrown over. He sees the sign that says, "Come back home." He starts calling everybody. If you don't know anything about it, they all kind of forgot about what happened with Pennywise after they left Derry.
It's part of the magic, or the curse of Derry. When you leave, you forget what happened there.
Right, and I think that's a really great political statement. I'm trying to think. I really genuinely loved how there were a lot of scenes of the original group all together, and then they each had like their own scenes, and then each had their own scenes going back in time.
Yes.
I thought it was very well done.
I really liked that because it explained the significance. Because so when he calls them back to Derry,
and you see where they're
and you see their vignettes
lives,
of what
really
they're doing,
important.
and so Eddie is married to a woman who's pretty much his mom, and it actually was the same actress.
Yeah.
Who played his mom, who played his wife, and he's a risk analyst, and he does not seem happy with his life. He is not in love with his wife. Mm-hmm. I think he married her because she reminded him of his mom.
Absolutely.
And his mom's dead.
100%.
And then Richie is a stand-up comedian.
Which I loved that. I loved that.
Very perfect for him.
I loved that.
Like, in the book, he was a radio personality.
This makes more sense.
I think both were good. But...
This makes more sense to me.
Beverly is a fashion designer, married to an abusive husband.
That... I would like to say was my other trigger warning.
Yeah.
When he reached for the belt, my eyes were completely hidden. I was like this. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to see it. I had my ears plugged and my eyes covered at the same time.
Don't read the book, girl, because the book was way more graphic and awful what he did to her.
Fiction, nonfiction, you know how I am.
Yeah. And so... It was pretty toned down compared to the book, and I appreciate that, but it was still very upsetting.
It was not toned down compared to, like, other physical violence scenes in movies. It was very much a horror film. You see everything. You hear everything.
And Jessica Chastain did an amazing job.
No, Jessica Chastain is a fucking goddess.
Really? Their entire acting?
No, they're
the entire
so
cast
fucking good.
Was so good.
They were all really, really good. I did not... So, you know, I told you, like, I forget, I don't know the term of it. I'm going to find out one of these days. When I am in a movie or I'm in a show, if I'm never pulled out by my surroundings, it's a really good show. It's a really good film. It's a really good play.
It's engrossing.
Had it not been for the horror elements where I had to pull myself out, I would have never been pulled out.
Yeah. No,
it was very enthralling.
It really was. Like, you got to see these people and what they're going through. Ben's, like, a really famous, well-off architect. All of them are very wealthy.
Yes.
Bill is an author, but all of his endings...
Except for Mike. Mike was not wealthy.
That's because he did not leave Derry.
He didn't leave Derry.
Everybody who's left Derry of the Losers Club left and became very wealthy. Stanley was a very wealthy accountant, I think it was. And Ben is a very wealthy architect.
They did well for themselves despite their backgrounds in Derry.
It's because of them... Like, in the book, it's a little bit explained a little better, but essentially they're blessed because of what they did. Because in the book, there's a god... which is a turtle that the Earth is on the back of, called Maturin. And there's a lot of turtle references in both movies.
Back to Moana.
And so...
It all ties back to Disney.
So, like, the ritual of Chud isn't a Native American thing in the book. It comes from the turtle. Because Bill talks to the turtle.
We'll go back to the ritual of Chud. So they all get the call to come back.
Everybody comes back.
Beverly gets beaten up. She walks out on her husband. They all come back.
Except for Stanley. Stanley kills himself. And...
It's... They don't show the act of doing it, but you do see him dead in the bathtub. And
he had a really nice ass. I thought he was really cute.
I was very disturbed.
It was disturbing.
By what happened.
I mean, I knew it was happening, so...
I did not.
Did you not see the original movie?
I saw bits and pieces of the original.
Okay, cool.
I had anxiety for a long time.
There is a bit where, like... We'll get to it. So anyway... The spider thing, and I was like, have you not seen the original? Because that's the final form.
When you said that to me, it did spark a memory, and I remembered Pennywise at the end turning into a spider, but it was more like a crab. So
this one, yes, the new one was okay.
So I actually watched that whole thing. I did not cover my eyes or anything. What I thoroughly enjoy about it. And I love this about the first one. Marta knows I love the first one. I actually love this one too. I need to watch it again in broad daylight, like at home with my husband. That's just how I have to do it. I did not remember the tiny spider head in the house.
That didn't happen in the original movie.
See? That's when you were like, Pennywise turns into a spider. I was like, what? I was so mad at you in that moment. I was like, fuck Mario.
Well, I tried to warn you. Like, there's a scene...
I should have read up on it before I went. That was my fault.
Well, because I heard about, like, the most disturbing parts. And so, like, the scene in the funhouse with the little boy...
He did do that.
I totally warned her. I was like, this kid is about to got bad. Look away.
And
he just...
buried up in that vagina.
I think, was that when you got your coochie?
The vagina and then the baby head spider thing. And when I saw that kid... I know when a spider scene is coming, bitches. I fucking know. When I saw that kid folded up inside of that mini fridge, I was like, there ain't no way.
That was Stanley. So, going forward, they meet at a Chinese restaurant. And they're all, like, reuniting, talking about what they've been up to, whatever.
I didn't find that scene funny. Everybody else said I didn't.
Well, a lot of the jokes were really funny. Like, they're just shooting the shit.
My anxiety was so bad that I was like, something shit is going to fuck up and happen. Like, I know it's going to happen.
And then the fortune cookies went bad.
The fortune cookies went bad.
Freaked them out. And there's,
the
like,
eyeball was gross.
That's how they find out that Stanley killed himself. Because their fortune cookies open... And it's all a different word, and they have to piece the words together, and it essentially says, I guess Stanley couldn't cut it.
Yeah, they had to put it all together.
And so when they left, I think Beverly called Stan's wife, or Stan's phone number, and that's when his wife answered and said he killed himself.
Yeah.
But Beverly knew that he killed himself.
He had such a lovely, peaceful life, which is what he wanted. He was working on a puzzle.
Yeah.
His wife was scheduling something. It was a big deal for them to go to Buenos Aires.
Yeah, and she literally booked it, and then he went and killed himself.
Yeah.
I'm saying this with a smile. I'm terrible. But, like, I never really cared for Stanley as a character. Because I saw him...
There are certain people you know are going to die.
Yeah.
When you watch stuff.
And, like, in the book, they made it very much to be he's weak. Mm-hmm. And in the movie, they changed that narrative. Because of that letter.
Oh, yeah.
They tried to change that. So going forward, they all talk to Mike, and Mike's like, you have to find a token item that means something to you because we have to perform this ritual.
This is my favorite part of the whole movie.
To be able to defeat Pennywise. And of course, there's moments where like, oh no, fuck this, we're leaving. And they're like, you know what, no, we're not leaving because Beverly saw the future and saw us all die. So Beverly...
Which I wish they would have touched on more.
Well, I mean, I don't want to know how they die.
No, I wish they would have touched on that. Because she had seen the lights and she had seen...
Well, they explained it.
Yeah, but I wish they had, like, shown it a little bit more somehow. I don't know.
So, essentially, in the first movie, she got captured by Pennywise and he showed her the dead lights, which are those orange lights in the back of his head. Mm-hmm. And in the book, if you look at those, you'd immediately die. Mm-hmm. In the movie, they made it see, okay, well, she can see the future and she saw all of them die. And if they do not defeat
the future in regards to Pennywise.
Yes, so if they do not defeat Pennywise, they will all die horrible deaths at a young age.
Yeah.
So she saw all of their deaths, and she knew Stan was going to kill himself because she saw his death.
And when it happened, she was very much freaked out, and that's when she
told everybody.
Told the group that she's like, I've seen this all die. I will say my favorite part of the movie, despite all the scary shit that happened, and it literally every single character made me jump and crawl out of my skin, was when they go back and they search for their tokens and they have a moment as a kid and they have a moment. Mm-hmm. So the moment as a kid is reliving kind of the Pennywise moments and how scary it is, and you get to see stuff that you didn't see in the first movie.
Yeah.
And then they have like a current, I'm getting goosebumps. They have a current Pennywise moment. Beverly's, I thought, was the scariest, creepiest, and everybody laughed, and I don't know if it's because you needed humor in that moment, but like, I tend to be empathetic. And if I was her, standing in that apartment...
Triggered as fuck. Where you were molested by your father.
As fuck with this... I have, like, literal... Like, Go ahead, Mario. I'm freaking out.
Okay, so she goes to her old apartment that she lived in with her father, and an old lady answers the door.
She goes back to find her token. They all find her token.
Because she knows she wants that poem.
Right.
Because in the first book, Ben wrote her that poem about January embers being her hair, and how his heart lies there also. And she thought it was from Bill. Mm-hmm. And so she goes back to her old apartment. The lady's really nice and lets her in. And she goes into her old room.
Old as fuck, creepy grandma.
Well, she wasn't creepy at first.
She was creepy.
At first.
Old people.
And so she goes and gets the token, and then she's talking to her. She's like, no, have some tea. And I think they cut this because in the book, it was sewage that she was drinking. The tea turns into sewage.
Yeah, they cut it. It was tea.
Yeah, it was gross tea.
That's not where she realized.
They allude to it was gross tea, though, because the face she makes when she takes a sip, but it was sewage. And Pennywise was the old lady and attacks her. But, like, in the house, there's a flashback of her as a child, mm-hmm. and her dad is telling her it is your fault that your mother is dead. Mm-hmm. I think her mother killed herself mm-hmm. because she did not want to Or because she looks so much like her and she's ashamed of you because you're a whore or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he is smelling something of his mother's and...
Perfume.
No, she was smelling like a piece of clothing of his mother's. And then he has of her mother's. And he has the bottle of her mother's perfume. Mm-hmm. And so he calls her over and makes her stand still, and he sprays her with the perfume and then holds
really
her.
Fucking
it's
intense.
So disturbing and so gross.
You think he's going to slap the shit out of her, and then it's just like perfume, and she's just crying and trying to figure out how is this her life.
Is that perfume?
What are you looking
at? That's stiletto?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mario, we're talking about a scary movie and you looked in the mirror. I'm going to cry.
Well, no, I looked like, what? Is that a shoe of wine? No. At first I thought it was wine, and it's like, no, it can't be wine.
Perfume. You want some?
I'm good. But, what is it? Does it smell good?
Oh.
I can't smell anything. Still can't smell anything.
Really?
Can I smell the bottle?
Yeah.
Okay, now I can smell it. It's very spicy.
Mm-hmm. I like spicy.
It's pretty.
I like spicy.
But it's just sorry, she has a giant stiletto.
I'll take a picture of it.
Perfume bottle.
But it's in front of a mirror, and so when he looked in the mirror talking about it,
it caught me off guard.
I thought Pennywise was
So Pennywise is dead, girl. Spoiler alert. But then it cuts to Ben. There's Ben going for his token, and he's at the school. And he's...
Well, I want to go back to Beverly.
Okay.
I want to go back to this old woman.
Okay, so it's like an old hag lady.
I don't know her name. I don't know who the actress is that played her. She did a phenomenal job. There is one scene where she has to keep, like, this face. What did she say? She
didn't say anything. She was just frozen.
No, but she said something and then became frozen.
Like, she was still for, like, a solid 15 seconds.
And then she went immediately into this casual smile back into the conversation. It was really fucking unnerving.
It was. And that was the point.
For me, like, people laughed at it, and I was like, we are dead as a society if that didn't freak you out.
Well, it
freaked me. I understand there's a need for comedic relief, but I don't think the directors intended that to be funny.
When I'm weirded out, I laugh. Because I don't know how else to react.
I agree with that. I've seen it happen with you. But I don't think that was the feeling of the people in the theater.
Oh, yeah, no. Like, because that's in the trailer.
Completely disrespectful to me.
That was the trailer
I
of the movie.
didn't see the trailer.
And everybody was going around, this is so fucking funny, I can't wait for this movie. Like, that was the caption for the movie. Because, like, she does this little boogie dance naked in the background. And you're like, what the fuck?
Ooh, that freaked me out the most.
Mm-hmm.
That freaked...
It was Pennywise.
If my grandmother did that, I'd have her committed.
Of course.
It was so fucking unnerving.
It was really
This is
weird.
a true horror film because it's not just like scary, like, you know, if you
it's
see Andrews
disturbing.
All the way, it's disturbing. And that's what horror films are supposed to do. And so that's all I want to talk about Beverly, because Beverly's scene is the first one that you see, and it is fucked up.
And then Ben's token is he goes back to the school, and he has like a flashback of him in like one of his clubs with like a projector, and then Beverly's in there, and they start talking, and she pretty much says, I can never love somebody as fat and gross as you. And it turns out to be Pennywise, and her head like catches a flame, and she chases after him. And it was pretty intense. It wasn't that poignant, but essentially his token was the yearbook page that Beverly signed for him that he's kept in his wallet for 27 years because he's loved her this whole time, which I think is so cute. And then whose was intense? Bill's.
Who was the schoolyard? Not the schoolyard, the statue.
That was Richie's. I knew what was happening because that happens in the book with the...
Richie's was fucking messed up.
It was. So Richie's...
I mean, he actually saw Pennywise talking to him. Like, it was different for everybody else. Like, with Beverly's, the guy turned into Pennywise. Which, Skarsgård... I don't know if I've seen anything else he's been. I wouldn't know. I'm not great with those.
This is one of his first big movies.
Okay. I watched a lot of indie stuff, too. So it's possible I have seen him and I didn't realize who it was. Does great as Pennywise.
He was amazing. And then his whole cockeye thing was really good. Because he can do that with his eyes naturally.
Like, that's his thing?
Yeah, he can do that.
That was
That's
Brooke's thing. Brooke was like, I hate that fucking eye. Like, the whole time, Brooke was like, that fucked up eye. There goes that eye. Like, I'm so glad Brooke was there. I know she talked through the whole thing, but it helped me so much.
Oh, she talked to the movie. And I was like, stop, girl.
It helped me so much. Though.
It was funny.
I totally appreciated it.
But anyway, he... We're talking about Ben, right?
We are.
No, we were talking about Bill next.
I had a question, but we can go back to Ben and then touch on Bill.
Well, no, we finished with Ben. It wasn't very big, but he got his token. Mm-hmm. Bill's token was disturbing because he went by his old house because he bought his bike and he talked to Stephen King because Stephen King had a cameo in it and he was talking about how shitty his endings were. It was a pretty good cameo, and he was a dick to him, and they were a dick to each other, kind of. Yeah. It was great. He's like, do you want like my autograph? And he was like, nah, I hated the ending. Thanks, though. I thought that was funny. But...
because most people don't get Stephen King the way they don't get M. Night.
Maybe.
Whatever, Mario. Keep going.
Sure.
I just, like, infinitively rolled my eyes at it.
So he buys his bicycle back from the first movie, and he's riding around, and he goes to his old house, and he sees this little boy, and...
the moment where he's like...
well, first...
silver bullet...
yeah, and it could beat the devil. You know, the final chapter of the book is Bill Denbrough beats the devil. Mm-hmm. So it was a big reference to that, which is really cool. But he goes by his old house and he sees the storm drain where Georgie was killed, and he starts talking to it, and it starts talking back, and
it's Georgie.
And it's Georgie saying, it's your fault, you didn't want to come out and play with me.
Don't leave me, help me, he's coming, help me.
And he's trying to offer him the paper boat, and he reaches in for the paper boat, and they're like 90 children's hands come out and grab him and pull him into the thing. Angry. Her and Brooke screamed so loud, and they pull, and he pulls, and he finally gets his token, which is the paper boat he made for Georgie. Mm-hmm. And then he sees this little boy who lives in his house now, and he's like, stay away from that drain, like, tries to explain it to him, and he's like, well, actually, I hear voices, but it's in the bathtub. Yeah. And he's like, you need to tell your parents, you need to leave, you need to get out, whatever. And
it's a really intense moment. Like, it's a grown man on his knees begging a child,
like, shaking a child to move away. And the kid's like, dude, I gotta go to the fair, sorry.
And then that's when he
has a skateboard. And so, and then he leaves. And
but then he's like, he said it like 3 times. He's like, I have to go to the fair.
Right.
I have to go to the fair. And I think that clicked with him.
Well, that's not what made him realize he needed to go to the fair. That happened later on. But he had a skateboard. And on that skateboard, actually, was the design of the carpet from The Shining, which is another little Easter egg. Did you see there's a sequel to The Shining coming out?
Weren't we in the same theater?
Yeah. But, like, did you see that?
If I watched it? Yeah.
Well, were you paying attention?
I was. I told you it was The Shining.
Okay.
Because I was like, that's that hole in the door. Here,
well, no, see, I knew that. Yeah. And I recognized the building. Mm-hmm. I just didn't realize it was Ewan McGregor playing the little boy. So I was like, okay, I might see that. I haven't seen The Shining, though.
I told Mario, there's a lot of horror... which I'm saying horror because that's what people say, but I say horror. I say horror. But there's a lot of horror movies, previews and stuff in there. And actually, I like The Shining. I like the old school scary movies.
We just finished talking about Bill. So the little boy leaves, and Bill goes back to the hotel, and then Richie has his moment, and he's walking in the park, and he looks up and he sees
I don't like Richie's moment at all.
Well, first. I'm trying to remember. Did they first talk to him because there's a stage being set up, and yes, so they first talk to him. There's a stage being set up, and everybody kind of
it's one thing turns and looks at him. Surreal shit to build up to Pennywise is fucking with you. It's only my child.
So anyway,
but it's one thing to look up and there's fucking Pennywise, just fucking with you.
First,
a bunch of red balloons.
Well, first he's walking through this town square area, and people are setting up a stage and stuff, and everybody freezes and starts looking at him.
Paul Bunyan.
Yes, but that was in the first movie too, and so they look.
Assuming people haven't seen it.
Oh well, I mean, one would hope
if you're listening to the highbrow as you are.
Oh. You'd think if you're listening to a review of the second movie, you've seen the first. One would hope. Although I'm that bitch who watches the review before I see the movie. And so everybody turns to Richie and starts staring at him, and then Pennywise appears we know your dirty little secret. We know your dirty little secret.
It's really fucking disturbing.
And then it cuts to him as a child, and he is at the arcade playing with this boy, and they're playing Street Fighter, which not everybody, a lot of nerds were pissed off because Street Fighter was not out at this year that it was taking place. It didn't come out for 3 years.
Come on,
but
guys.
Anyway, I was like, guys, it's just, they own the rights to this video game and they don't own the rights to Mortal Kombat, so just let them live. But they were playing Street Fighter 2, and he's like, you want to go again? And it turns out it was the bully from the first movies, cousin or something, and he's like, no, I'm not a fucking fag, leave me alone, or whatever. Isn't that what he said? Something like that? Or fairy?
Yeah, but he doesn't say that until his cousin walks in. I got the feeling that he was more gay than
than Richie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so...
And then he immediately got defensive and called someone else gay. Like, isn't that what happened?
Essentially. And so the bully tells me, get out of here, you faggot. And
he doesn't know what to do, so he just leaves.
And so he runs, and he's at the park, and he stops at a bench, and then he looks up, and it's the fucking Paul Bunyan statue's missing, and it attacks him. And it's, that's the part that made me scream.
Fucking messed up.
I knew it was coming. And the camera just turns, and it's just there with, huge teeth, in your face, screaming. And I was like, ah! And then he just starts running and dodging and running and dodging and running and dodging. And
I screamed.
He survives, luckily.
I screamed.
She screamed. She screamed really loud. That was the first time I heard her scream.
I screamed several times before that.
But that was the first time I heard you scream. I noticed it.
Well, I've had my sweater over my face almost the whole movie. Or it was in Brooke's tit or in her vagina.
And so he ends up going back to, it cuts back to him as an adult, and, everybody's like, we know your dirty little secret, and he runs away, and he goes and gets the token from the arcade and goes back. And then Eddie has his moment in the pharmacy, where he goes to their basement. I take it back.
That one was the most messed up.
That was gross. So he goes to the pharmacy to pick up his placebo inhaler that just is water vapor. And the same pharmacist is there, but he was really gross how he was acting.
He had a meth addiction.
Is that what it was? How do you know?
The sores on his face, the skin peeling away, they alluded to it. Remember when you walked in and he was doing something? It was a meth addiction. He was putting some of the meth. Well, and obviously you can cook meth from pharmaceuticals.
Right.
So he had a meth addiction. That's what it was. And he looked the fucking part.
Yeah, and so
if you've ever been to Phoenix City on payday in the Walmart and you see the meth heads trying to buy Sudafed, that's what they all look like. Have you ever done that? We're going to do that.
Do I want to do that?
You need to experience it.
Do I?
Yeah.
Is my life not complete without this?
It brings so much more empathy to your life.
I don't want to be sad.
No, it's not sadness. It's just wow, this is a real problem. You hear about meth problems.
Yeah, you do.
But you don't ever really experience it till you've been in a Walmart.
One would hope.
Very true.
But anyway, he's at the pharmacy, and it cuts to him as a child, and he goes into the basement of the pharmacy.
Never go in the basement! That really pissed me off. I was angry.
Because he hears his mom screaming, so he goes down looking for her. And he finds his mom strapped to this thing, like a gurney or something, and she cannot move, and he has to try and save her. But it's almost vertical? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it's propped against a wall or something.
Yeah.
And
she's not laying down. She's almost being propped, stood up, but tied down.
And there's a creature in the corner covered by a blanket, getting to her. And he has to try and save her. And then it turns out it's that leper from the first movie.
Yeah. And the buckles and stuff were covered in slime.
The tongue.
I don't like the tongue. Give me everything else.
I like what they did with the leper because in the book, it was trying to give him a blowjob. It was I kept offering him a blowjob.
That's why I don't.
That's why the tongue was kind of fitting, but also gross. But I appreciate this better than the crassness of that. So
I mean, and it's Stephen King. He's a pretty horrific writer.
So he has the flashback of him trying to save his mom, and he can't save his mom. He's like, "Mom, I'm so sorry," and he has to leave
her.
And then it cuts to him as an adult. And the leper's there again. And he faces off the leper, and he realizes, no, fuck this. And he starts choking the leper back. And the leper throws up on him. But he realizes
But it's projectile nonstop for 10 seconds vomit. It's really,
it's
really
black
bad.
Ooze. It's gross.
It's really, really nasty.
And so he runs away and goes back to the hotel where everybody else is staying and takes a bath or whatever. And while he's taking a shower, the bully who was resurrected by Pennywise is in there
to stab him
and stabs him in the face,
in the cheek,
and then
perpendicular to his face.
Yeah, so it just goes through his cheek.
It's a flesh wound,
definitely. And so he bites him off and stabs him multiple times by taking the knife out of his cheek and stabbing him and runs away.
But it was also really well done too. He slowly hides behind what you're supposed to do when you're encountered by a crazy person, not agitate them. It's really good.
And that's everybody, right, with their tokens?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they didn't show Mike getting his token, but Mike's token was the rock from when they did one of the rocks from when they did that rock fight in the first one, and it hit Bowers.
But Mike is also super, super suspicious during this whole time. I didn't buy for 1 second that thing was going to work. I thought that he was on Pennywise's side for a long time until we got to the end, and then the whole thing turned around.
I thought it was going to work because in the book, that's how they defeat him. But
the actor was incredible at kind of like being suspicious.
It was
yet
the
convincing.
Old Spice guy.
Yeah, it was really good.
Isaiah Mustafa.
Yes.
He was very good.
He was very, very good.
All the
enjoyed
kids'
him
actors were very good. They all looked like the kids grown up.
And they genuinely are good. All of them are good actors. Mm-hmm. All of them. Not one person was unbelieving.
And Ben was hot as fuck.
Ben was delicious.
Oh my god, those cheekbones!
Yeah,
he could grate
super
cheese.
Angular.
But even like compared to the actor who played him, he had the angular eyes and everything. Like it was a very good casting.
They did a really, really good job.
The only thing that I did not like I was like, you're being nitpicky, really is that Jessica Chastain has a cleft, and the actress who played young Beverly did not.
Jessica Chastain's face is more angular too.
It is, but I mean, your face angles out as you get older, so that's understandable.
Not me. I've always had fat cheeks.
Oh,
I'm not.
I used to have a lot fuller cheeks, and as I've gotten older, my cheekbones are a lot more prominent now. Because my skin's saggy.
I shadow mine.
But
I contour the shit to make it look like I have cheekbones. I do not. I have
pretty high cheekbones. I don't know.
Mine are high, but even if I lost weight, like you couldn't tell. We're over here like touching our faces.
I love my cheekbones. I just massage them sometimes.
Anyway, back to
they look really great with highlighter, specifically Tiara by Jouer.
I really like Laura Lee. Those highlighters are really good. They're really good.
Lar, do it, girl.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, they go back to was it the library? Well, actually, no. They go back to the hotel. They meet up at the hotel. Mm-hmm. Beverly kisses Bill, and Bill's like, huh? Mm-hmm. And then a skateboard comes, because Beverly thinks Bill wrote this poem a long time ago, so she's remembering this crush. She can't remember who wrote the poem.
Right.
And at the end of the movie, she realized, I think it was Ben at the end of the first movie, because he's the one who kisses her.
Yeah.
But then she forgot.
Yeah.
And so she thinks it's Bill again, and Ben's really hurt about it. And so, like, she kisses him, and he's like, oh, like, he's married. Mm-hmm. And although she's married, she's obviously left him.
Yeah, she leaves her ring on the post outside of their house.
She's like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
Even though they're like fashion partners or whatever, which is going to be difficult to deal with. But anyway.
We're not worried about him.
Semantics.
Mm-hmm.
So a skateboard comes down the stairs, and it's the skateboard of the little boy who lives in Bill's house now, and it says, you weren't there for Georgie, and you're not going to be there for him either.
Yes.
So he's like, shit, I have to get to the fair. So he books it to the fair on his bike, and everybody's like, what the fuck's going on? Everybody, Isaiah Mustafa and everybody else shows up, and they're like, where's Bill? We need Bill. And he's like, he went to the fucking thing. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, let's wait for him at first. And then it cuts to Bill at the fair, and they're going to a fun house. And he's chasing after this little boy, saying, no, you have to come back. You have to come back. It's going to kill you. Mm-hmm. And it gets into the place where, like, there's all the mirrors and the clear glass. So you keep running into things of the fun house. And
would you know that there is an actual fun house?
Fuck that.
Yeah.
And so the little boy, he finally catches up to the little boy, but there's like a pane of glass between them. And he's like, no, kid, you have to leave. You have to leave. This guy's going to kill you.
There's a pane of glass between the little boy and Bill and the little boy and...
Well, then Pennywise appears, and there's a pane of glass. And so Pennywise starts banging his head against the glass.
And this did not take like 5 seconds.
This was like a full minute of him banging. This was a minute and a half
of like insane clown banging into a pane of glass.
And Bill's trying to break it open to save the kid, and he can't.
What's that actor's name?
Oh, James McAvoy? Oh yeah, James McAvoy's fucking Bill, y'all.
Oh my god, James McAvoy is so delicious.
All of them were really
No, they all are. What's the other? What's the glasses?
Richie Tozier. That's Bill Hader.
Bill Hader. I find Bill Hader to be so hot. I just want
he
to sit on
doesn't
his
do
face.
it for me, but I think he's very funny.
That's why I like him. I like a good sense of humor.
And then like the guy who played Eddie can be cute if he would relax his face a little bit. But I know he was giving it attention to be Eddie.
Which one was Eddie again? I'm not good at this stuff.
Oh, I don't know the actor's name. He like...
What is he the one that throws the spear?
Yes. And gets killed.
I think he looks like... he reminds me of Steve Carell.
A little bit in the face.
That's just what I get. I don't know.
I can see a little bit. They have a similar face shape.
Yeah. Okay. Back to the funhouse. So it's fucked up. And Mario told. This is the only thing that Mario forewarned me about.
No, I forewarned you about Pennywise becoming a spider too.
After that.
So anyway,
you saw my meltdown.
So I told her, like, this kid's about to got bad, and it's very
I just
gory.
didn't watch.
And so he breaks through the glass and, like, attacks him, and it's just literally a pool of blood splashes up on the screen, and that's it.
I saw a brief flash of the blood against the glass, and then it went to the next scene. Mm-hmm. So I didn't watch. I didn't want to watch.
And so from there, he leaves and is really pissed off, and they call him. They're like, Bill, where are you? We need to meet up with you. And he's like, no, I'm going to kill it by myself because I don't want you guys to be endangered. And like, absolutely not. So they go to the house on Ebolt Street, and we did skip something.
What did we skip?
There was a scene after they went to the Chinese restaurant where everybody left. They're like, fuck this, we're leaving. And Bill goes to the library with Mike because Mike lives in the library because he's the librarian. And he shows him about the ritual of chud.
He drugs his friend, though.
He gives him like he gave him some.
He drugged his friend Mario.
Yeah, he gave him
super pissed if
a root. I would too. But he gave him like some water with like root essence or whatever,
to show
he can
him
hallucinate.
what the Native American showed him about the ritual of chud.
And I really liked this scene because because in the book, the thing that torments Mike is a giant bird. Because in the book, there is this club called the Black Spot, and this is during the 50s.
But we're not reviewing the book.
I know, but it's a reference to it, and that's what I'm trying to explain. It's cool. So this big bird burns down the Black Spot, and all the people die in it. And that's how his parents originally died, I believe. And so it's a reference to his real thing versus, his parents are crackheads in a fire. Right. So I like that little touch of, this is a reference to the original thing. Because it shows the giant bird attacking the Native Americans. But anyway,
it's a really cool scene to watch, though.
It is. It's very much like Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, where Hermione's reading the Deathly Hallows story.
That's exactly what it's
similar
like.
Art style.
Yeah.
And so back to this, they're like, no. So they meet up at the house in Evil Street, and they go through to fight Pennywise, and they're going through the house and experiencing different things. No, actually, do they go right to the basement? They go right to the basement.
They experience like little things in the different rooms. Remember, they got separated.
Right. Yeah. Right. So like little,
very much like the first movie,
tiny little scary things, and that's when the spider thing. So there's like a refrigerator with Stanley's dead body
covered my face
crammed in there, and then his head falls off and turns into like a spider, even though it has like 90 legs.
So gross.
And so they have to kill it. It was really disturbing.
And I'd like to be clear, I don't have arachnophobia because I'm not scared of like crustaceans. I'm not scared of scorpions.
I'm scared of scorpions.
For me,
have you ever been stung by a scorpion, girl?
I mean, I don't want to get stung, but I don't see them and immediately start crying. It is spider specific for me.
Spiders and roaches.
No, I don't care about roaches. I'll kill it with my bare hands and then go wash my hands later. I'm not scared of a lot of things.
Sorry, Ben in Black made me so afraid of roaches.
I'm not scared of a lot of things.
But spiders.
Spiders are my thing. I don't like them.
And so they make it to the well, and they go down to Pennywise's original lair. And there's like a pretty much a manhole that they have to climb down.
They
to get
basically
to the
discover like the real
entrance to his lair.
Yeah.
And so they go in and they start doing the ritual of chud, and they explain their tokens and burn it, and explain their tokens and burn it. And it summons Pennywise down. And Mike lied to them, saying this was supposed to defeat him, but when they originally did this, they all got slaughtered.
Right.
And so he's like, well, I thought because they didn't believe hard enough, it wasn't able to be completed. And so we
like
can
a fucked up thing, dude. Like a real friend would explain that, so we can explore all avenues. If we're going to defeat a demon, I need all the information. I'm not saying I'm not going to do it, but I'm saying like prepare me.
And so Pennywise comes down and laughs in their face. He pretends like it works, and then he's like, you know what? No, actually, and he transforms into a giant.
A total dick move, by the way.
Oh, totally. I mean, it's Pennywise, of course. Or are you talking about on Mike's part?
Both of them.
Yeah. So he turns into a giant spider thing and starts chasing them and attacking them, and each of them are isolated.
But it's more like a crab.
Like, yeah.
It's more like a crab.
It's supposed to be an
I will say this, whereas I covered my eyes for like the first 2/3 of the movie, the very last part I did not cover my eyes.
Yeah, because it wasn't scary. Well,
no. But that's the thing about the first movie too. Like I was genuinely freaked out several scenes in the first one, but like once you get to the end and they're realizing that they just have to defeat him,
it's mind over matter.
It's mind over matter. So it definitely takes you on that same journey.
Exactly.
It's a really good film.
I really enjoyed it. And so they go, they each have like a different, they're isolated because they run away.
They each have their own task.
And they have their little task. And we shouldn't really go into this because we don't have enough time. But essentially,
they defeat their task.
The most
tasks
important
are specific to them.
Right. But there are two parts that I wanted to touch on, and that is Ben and Beverly's parts. Because she got a little bit annoyed because they didn't kiss. But anyway.
They did kiss.
They were together. They were the only two that stayed together when they ran away, and they got pulled apart. He was, like, being buried alive.
You're forgetting about the other two with the doors. Scary, not scary.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That was weird. You screamed at the little dog thing. I knew it was coming.
I knew something was going to happen to that fucking dog. And I grew up with Pomeranians.
I had a Pomeranian as well.
So it was, like, fucked up.
And he was really mean, but I loved him. Like, I have scars on my nose from him where he ripped my nose. Because I went in to kiss him and he... But anyway, so they are separated. He's being buried alive, and she's locked in the bathroom that she used to hide in, where they feel like the trash on her, and it starts filling up with blood. And Jessica Chastain actually did this scene. This was a practical effect. So she was in there, and she's like, no, let's do it all, And she didn't realize... Good. She was talking about how she did not realize how much this really was, and she was overwhelmed. She almost had a panic attack.
So good.
Because it's really overwhelming. So she's, like, about to drown in blood.
She's so good.
And, like, Ben calls out, Beverly, I love you, or whatever. And somehow she hears it, and it saves them, and they save each other. And she's like, really, right now? Jessica turns to me, really? They're going to do it? They didn't kiss. They're just like, oh my god.
They did kiss.
They did not kiss. They kissed underwater.
That's the scene where I was like, right now.
No.
They did kiss the first time. I watched them kiss. They kissed twice.
I don't remember that kiss.
They did kiss because I was like, now is not the fucking
She was just
time.
on top of him because she landed on top of him and they're like, oh my gosh. And then they heard somebody scream.
In the caverns, I don't
agree.
Kissed.
We'll have to rewatch it and we'll have an update.
They kissed.
So anyway, she doesn't like
rewatching shit.
Oh, you just said you were going to rewatch it with your husband in the light. But anyway, they go out. They go out and Pennywise is chasing after them still. And Bill Hader really comes out and is like, you know what, fuck you, like, we're going to kill you or whatever. And he hits him with a deadlight, so he's immobilized and he's about to get killed. And Eddie sees what's going to be happening. And Eddie goes and throws, like, this spear at him and it impales him. And then he thinks he killed it. And he's like, oh my god, I did it. And he's really excited.
Pennywise pretended again.
And he's, like, really happy, like, making sure Richie's okay. And it's, like, a cute little moment for him. And then Pennywise impales him from behind. And Richie is, like, devastated because Richie was in love with Eddie the whole time.
But also...
Like, that's also his best friend.
It's really devastating.
It really is. And everybody's upset by it. And it rallies them to go after Pennywise. And they realize, okay, well, if we can't shrink him down, we can make him feel small. And they start insulting him and shrink him down to a baby.
And then they pull out his
heart and kill it and break it, and that kills him.
Yeah.
And they have to leave Eddie's body behind because
which also infuriated me.
That really upset me too. But I mean, what could they have done? You know?
No,
it was literally collapsing.
No, I was infuriated by. He was like, "No, we have to help him." I was like, "Dude, I get it.
The love of his life just died."
And I'll stand by this same thing that I said in the theater. If that happened to Daniel, and I had to go back to my kids and family.
But he doesn't have a kid or family.
It doesn't matter.
Eddie was the most important person in his life.
You have to get out of there. You cannot let it defeat you in any way, shape, or form.
No, I agree, but I understood.
I get it, but let's mourn later.
When they did. So they all leave, and they go and they jump into the lake that they went swimming in earlier. Like in the first movie in their tiny whities. And, like, all of them start talking about Eddie and how Eddie would be, like, freaking out right now because it's dirty water. And they're all laughing. And I were like,
absolutely, that's a staph infection waiting to happen.
And they were literally in the fucking sewer. Like, that's cleaner than the sewer.
Yeah.
But anyway, they all start laughing and talking, and then Richie just loses it. And he just is heartbroken. And, like, that's the part that really got me crying.
That was sad.
Like, I was like, oh my god, like...
Yeah, I'm gonna have to fight you on that. I was fine with them kissing in the lake because the danger was over.
Yeah, and they kissed in the lake.
I'm fine with that. Well, except for the fact that, like, kissing underwater is completely unrealistic for as long as they did.
And so Ben and Beverly kiss underwater. Everybody's happy. And then, like, they realize Richie's really not okay. And so he's, like sobbing, and they all just cuddle and hug. And then it cuts to, like, the future. Or I guess sometime later.
Yeah.
And it shows Richie leaving the town, and it showed earlier in the movie Richie carving his initials in the bridge, and he goes back to the place, and it turns out back then he carved his and Eddie's initials in the bridge, and he goes and recarves Eddie's initials.
Which is really beautiful. I really love that.
I was so, like, crying hard.
I had tears in my eyes.
And then Beverly and Ben got together, and they're on a yacht.
Which I'm so happy for her.
And I'm happy for him. He loved her this whole time, and he never gave up. And then
she deserved to break the pattern of her childhood.
And then Bill wrote a new book, and he had a good idea for the ending. And Mike leaving Derry made me cry too, because
I was so grateful.
I was so happy for him.
I mean, had he not stayed, they all would have died a horrific death anyway, so I get why he had to stay.
But I'm glad he finally has a new lease on life.
Absolutely.
And then Richie... And they didn't do anything else, Richie. That was everybody. And then he calls Bill and is like, hey, I'm leaving. I'm going to go explore the world or whatever. And he's like, great. I'm happy for you. I love you, man. Like, whatever.
And Brooke chose that moment to be like, I tell Jessica I love her all the time, but she doesn't ever tell it to me. And I'm like bitch, I love you. I was in your vagina. If I didn't love you, I wouldn't be there.
Okay, so he's like, did you get the letter? And he's like, what letter? He's like, Stan sent us everybody a letter. And it's a good letter in the sense that it's a good voiceover to end the movie on.
But it's also not true to the...
So anyway, Stanley sent everybody a letter, and it's pretty much saying that he wasn't strong enough to do this, and he knew this, and he knew if they weren't united... that they could never defeat him, so he took himself out of the equation, which I think is bullshit. I really have more respect for the fact that he was too afraid and he killed himself, because that was more real.
Yeah, I feel that.
And then, like, he did, like, a whole voiceover just talking about being yourself or whatever and being happy and
it was
whatever.
A good movie.
It was a good way to end the movie. And, like, I was crying, Brooke was crying, because it was good. It was nice words.
I wasn't crying.
She wasn't crying. She doesn't like emotions.
She's a cold-hearted snake.
Look into her eyes.
Oh.
But all in all, I really enjoyed it. I loved the whole, like, gay, like, in the closet thing with Richie. I thought it was very relatable in that fear. And, like, they really captured the anxiety of being in the closet and somebody finding out and not knowing. Like, as someone who's outed, like... I really related to the fuck out of that. That's why Richie's probably my favorite character now, because I really relate to him.
I thought it was a good movie.
It was so well done. I was very impressed. I thought it was more funny than scary, and I appreciated that. But I also feel like because I knew so much about the source material, I've read the book, I've seen the original movie, I knew what to expect.
I was so freaked out I couldn't appreciate the humor.
I think so. And I think if you were to watch it a second time, you would do it. The only thing I will say is the movie was so fucking long, they could have cut 30 minutes out and it would have been fine. I totally think they could have.
What would they have cut?
They could cut out the length of the Ritual of Chud part. Like they could have cut out the whole part where they do the doors again, because that was a lot long. That could have been a lot shorter.
I like that.
They could have cut... the scene where they were separated, like them fighting the spider thing, that could have been a little bit shorter. Like if they just trimmed off 30 seconds from all these scenes, it could have been tighter.
Yeah, but I think that's what makes it a horror film.
I don't know.
I do. I mean, but you don't need to see Pennywise. You're not, but that's the thing is horror does not have to scare you. It has to disturb you, unnerve you, make you feel uncomfortable.
But I wasn't just, at the end of the movie, I wasn't disturbed at all. I wasn't disturbed, unnerved, or scared. I was just like, let it be over.
But you didn't feel that way at other parts that were long.
Yeah, I did. Like where they kept going back to the hotel and meeting up at the hotel. I was like, okay, guys, this is unnecessary.
I disagree with Mario.
I think it could have been a better movie if it was a little bit shorter. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I'm really happy about how they portrayed everybody. The actors were amazing. Pennywise was amazing. Like
Pennywise was amazing.
Everything was great about it. I really loved it. Just it was a little long.
If you can stand a film like this, you should see it. But there are a lot of trigger warnings.
Totally. So
you've got physical abuse, bashing, sexual abuse, homophobic themes,
and it also just opens up the conversation
crazy
about
people. Like if you're like me and you're uncomfortable with people who are genuinely insane, the scene where Pennywise is just a person who turns into a clown, that's very unnerving. The old lady is unnerving. The mental hospital is unnerving. So this movie is full of trigger warnings, but that's what horror does. Yeah. So
I loved it.
It was good. I was thoroughly pissed when I left.
She almost didn't hug me.
I did, and I walked away because they were like, "Do you want us to walk into the car?" And I was like, "No, I can see my fucking car from here." I just wanted to leave, but it was because if you have anxiety, you get it. Like you're up and then you're down, and then you're up and then you're down, and so like you're exhausted. By the time I left, I was exhausted. And if you're like me, when you're tired, you're the worst person on the planet.
And usually in most horror movies, that's how I am. That's why I don't go see horror movies.
I don't watch horror movies.
Because, like, the last horror movie I saw, and it was Saw 3.
Mine was It.
Well, I wasn't freaked out by it. But I was
freaked out by it. At the end, I'm fine. At the end of It, you're fine. Like, if you're someone who gets scared in scary movies, I get it. I'm with you. But, like, it is good because you do feel empowered.
Yeah.
You do feel,
okay,
at the end, you're like, I'm not scared anymore. The worst has happened. Now we just got to get this guy gone. So it does a really good job of that. But, like, I came home and I didn't go to bed till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, wow.
I had to drink, like, 2 glasses of wine to sleep.
I see. I was not that. I was super relaxed.
Again, my anxiety and everything that triggers me was in this movie. So it was different for me.
I totally understand.
And also the cost of the fucking movie.
If you would have bought a ticket at work, it would have been $8.50.
I forgot. It's fine. Which
How much was it?
More angry.
$12.50?
$12.75.
Yikes.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Oh my god, and I committed a crime.
Mario stole.
Did I tell you about this?
Pizza, yeah.
Okay, so Brooke and I got there like...
I accused Brooke of doing the crime, and she got really offended.
I mean, if it were me or Brooke committing a crime, it would be Brooke, obviously.
Absolutely. If it were any three of us, and we would all look at Brooke first, and then me, and then Mario.
And it was an accidental crime. So Brooke and I were standing at the thing looking at the menu because she was hungry and I was hungry. And she's like, oh, look at those flatbread pizzas. They're only $5. She's like, yeah, I might get one too. And she's like, yeah, they look good. So I bought our tickets. So she was buying the food. So she bought our drinks or whatever. And I assumed she bought me one of those little sandwiches too. So like, okay, cool. So we're standing by the place where you pick it up. And she's like, oh, I have to go pee while you watch my drink. So she does. And the guy comes up. He's like, did you order flatbread pizza? And I said, no, actually, we had 2. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. So he made us 2 flatbread pizzas and gave them to us. And then Brooke's like, why do we have 2 pizzas? I only ordered 1. And I was like, I thought you ordered me a pizza because I wanted a pizza. She's like, well, you didn't say anything, so I just assumed you didn't. And I said, well, we got the fucking pizza. So we went and ate it, and it was delicious.
I still can't eat gluten. Although I did eat a Twizzler. I was very stressed out.
She was a wild woman.
I was very stressed out.
But all in all, I really loved it. I highly recommend it. Just watch it at home where you can take pee breaks without having to miss something.
Or smoke breaks, or vodka breaks, or food breaks. Because I told Mario, the next movie we watch, I'm not going to the theater. I'm hosting movie night here. Daniel will grill for us. We can get drunk. I can't pay for
She said she'll do pot stickers. I never had pot stickers.
I'll do pot stickers for you, 100%.
Also...
I'll do very simple Indian for you, too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, like, I told you at the very beginning, Adrian Mellon's boyfriend, I was like, I know him from something.
Oh, yes. Where was he from?
Yeah, have you ever seen the movie GBF?
No.
It's this movie, like this gay movie on Netflix. It's really good, actually. I enjoyed it. But it even has, like, Natasha Lyonne in it.
Oh, okay.
And it's about this kid who gets outed. And, like, the 3 popular girls want him as their GBF. And so, like, they're...
Gay best friend?
Yeah.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. I haven't seen it, but yes.
One of them is, like, a Mormon, and she has a boyfriend, and he was the boyfriend who was gay and into the guy. But he only wanted him for sex. But, yeah, that's where I knew him from. It's like, I know this guy's face. He has a very, very familiar face.
He's cute. I think he's really cute.
Adrian Mellon or the other guy?
The other guy.
We know Adrian Mellon is Xavier Dolan, the director. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was pretty cool. But I thought his like gay character was too stereotypical gay character. Like he put on the voice and everything. I was like, okay, it's a little bit on the nose, but whatever.
I liked it.
He was cute though.
I liked it. It served its purpose.
But anyway, we do need to move on to
Miss Chelsea Handler.
Miss Chelsea, because this went a lot longer than I anticipated.
We can briefly synopsis Chelsea's.
Why?
Because it's late already.
I mean, it is late. Well, I just don't know how long because I don't want to shortchange your topic.
No, it's fine.
I really enjoyed it.
I liked it a lot.
So, it or Chelsea Handler?
Both of them.
So,
I haven't heard Mario talk about it yet, so I'm excited to hear you.
Okay, so Chelsea Handler released a documentary on Netflix
where she called out the president directly and said everyone should watch it, including you.
And it's called Hello Privilege, It's Me, Chelsea, and it's talking about white privilege in America. And I was very...
Specific to America.
I was very into it because she interviewed a lot of people of color and she got their perspectives and she did not try to
I mean, I hate to think that she cut anything out, but the things that she left in were so harsh that I couldn't imagine that she
cut anything out.
Does that make sense? I mean, because she went to there's a professor at the University
I don't know
California, I believe. I'll correct myself.
I just know who's the 50-year-old white dude. Are you talking
professor.
About... Was he not a professor? Who's the 50-year-old white dude?
That was an expert on white privilege.
Oh, okay.
On being white.
He was good, though.
Well, his books are all about how white people are abusing white privilege.
Yeah.
So he's not on his white people's side. Anyway, there was a spoken word movement, which really, like, I watched it on the way to work and it made me cry. Because he was like, this is not a safe space. This is a brave place. And I was like, oh, that hit my heart so good. And all these people of color that can come together and talk about white privilege, about being of color and
the struggles they face.
How they face them, what they do, what it feels like. And Chelsea gets up, starkly white woman in a room full of black people.
And brown. There were Latinos. Because one of the Latinos spoke.
Yeah. And she's like, hi, I'm Chelsea Handler. She did get applause. And then one guy called her out for using You Gotta Be Kidding Me as her book, which I own that book, by the way.
Yeah, that's why I did not want to watch the special because of the name, because I was uncomfortable with it.
I own the book and I watched the special.
I mean, I watched the special too.
Only because, like, I get her humor. And I get that it's touchy, but I do get her humor. But also, another woman was like, you can cut this out. But, like, here we go again, having another conversation. Your capitalist is great, but what's a documentary going to do? Yeah. And she didn't stop.
And she didn't. She's like, you're absolutely right. I want to do my part or whatever.
Yeah.
But.
And she has privilege.
I really liked in this the specialist on, or the expert on white privilege.
Who is a white guy, by the way.
A 50-year-old white guy.
Who acknowledges that white privilege is a problem and that he has it.
But he explained it in a way that I think a lot of people understand it. Because people, a lot of the times where people say white privilege, white people immediately think...
Get defensive.
They get defensive, like, well, I didn't have this silver spoon up my ass, like, doing this.
That's not
or
what
gave
that
me
means.
this thing, and that's not what it means. And he pretty much goes on and says... Privilege is the flip side of oppression. If you're not oppressed, you have a privilege. So you don't face the same things that black people face. Although you may not have a leg up in society in the sense of, oh, you had all this monetary
but you're
things,
not black, so you do have
but
a
you're
leg
not
up.
black, so you have a leg up societally.
Right.
Because society is going to treat you better. Or give you more opportunities because of your name, because of your race, because of, oh, she's just a nondescript white girl. She's fine.
Yeah.
The thing that I loved the most about this documentary was she goes...
Say it.
Oh, I don't know. She goes to see her ex-boyfriend.
Yes, that was my favorite. I did not know that story about her. As much as I know about Chelsea Handler, I didn't know that story.
So she goes to see her ex-boyfriend, who has been out of prison for 3 years. He did 14 years for armed robbery. But she talks about her experience as a white girl, because she dated him when she was 16, got pregnant by him twice, lost both babies.
Had abortions.
Oh, did she have abortions?
Yeah, she's open about it.
I didn't know that. So she's
had 4, I think.
Abortions? Oh, work. So she said she got pulled over 3 times with him and she had dime bags on her. And all 3 times she got let go without nothing. And she thought, oh, it's because I have a good personality. I talked my way out of it. And it's like, no. And she acknowledges now, no, it's because I'm white. And then she talked to her mother.
A white girl in a black neighborhood.
Yes. And then she talked to his mother. And this was one of my favorite parts as well. Just this whole section is my favorite part of the documentary, because they talk about their experience and he wasn't really doing drugs at the time. He was just selling drugs because he needed to give money to his family, to support his family. It was out of need. It wasn't out of greed in that regard. And I mean, it's not, you're peddling drugs, of course.
Because he was a black kid born into like a poor part of New Jersey, and they had to make ends meet somehow. And unfortunately, what that usually means for young black boys and women is like prostitution, tricking, or sex working, stripping,
selling drugs,
a football player.
Yeah, he was a football player.
Or selling drugs.
And she talked to his mom.
I have a friend. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I have a friend who is a social studies teacher, and she teaches at non-privileged schools on purpose because that's the population she likes working with. She is half black and half white. Her mom is a German immigrant. Her dad is a black Southern man, and she tells when the black boys in her class like mess around too much, she's like, you realize society has 2 jobs for you: sports star or jail. What are you gonna do? And she like breaks it down for them like that, because she got pregnant young. She is the first person to finish college in her family. That includes her mom and her dad. And they're not particularly like, they're not like secondhand citizens. It's just like it wasn't expected of them. No one expected. So her big thing is like expectations, like for her kids, for herself. And so like she lays that shit out for her kids.
I need Daddy's charger.
Okay.
Daddy's charger.
Danny, come here.
To charge his,
You're making way too much noise. I can hear everything you're doing. You're driving me nuts. Cut it out. Go to your room if you're going to be Stranger Things. Go to your room.
Thanks, Mommy.
You're welcome, baby. You staying in here? Where you going? You staying? Okay. All right. You can stay. Anyway. I did not expect her to go back and visit her boyfriend and talk about all that and let people into that part of her life because as open as she is.
That's a very personal thing.
She's never talked about that.
Well, and the thing the conversation she had with his mother was very important, I think, because I'm not saying this is going to be the first thing that white people are going to see about white privilege, but it might be something that they're more willing to watch because it's presented by her.
I thought so too.
And they touched on internalized racism. Because her mother talking about she asked her mother, why did you start using? And she's like, well, I was pissed off because my mother married a black man and gave me these curls and gave me this dark skin.
Because at the time she was growing up, everybody wanted to be white.
Yep.
And it wasn't that long ago. We're talking like the 70s.
Yeah.
Where like being white and like
that
only white Barbie dolls, like that's when that study was done. Do you remember reading about this? There was a study done it was either late 60s or early 70s. A psychologist went through and presented white and black dolls
to little girls.
And
which is the pretty one, and
they always picked the white girl. One. And that's why it was so important to have like
representation matters.
Maddie has every color under the sun, and if it wasn't so expensive to get her a fucking Down syndrome baby, I would.
Do they have those?
Yeah, they have them. Wow. They're so cute too. I'm not a doll person, but I would own a Down syndrome doll. They're so cute.
I'd have to see pictures.
I'll show you pictures. They're so fucking cute. But like Maddie has, actually Kim and Emmanuel bought her first like black stereotypical baby. She has like rough hair. She's like really chunky. Madeline loves that doll. That's like her favorite doll. Anyway.
So moving on, she talks about the internalized racism, and that's what led her to drugs, because society does make them feel less than for not being this European standard of beauty. And that's why I love like our modern culture now, because we are embracing black beauty and celebrating it more. I mean, it's not to the level it should be where
but you know,
people like Lizzo.
That's what I want to touch on too, because what I did appreciate through this whole thing is that there you go, is that nobody was saying that there wasn't progress. They were saying we've had progression, but then we also kind of haven't.
Right.
Like, it's not enough. Like, just because we're acknowledging that there has been progression
doesn't mean the problem solved.
Right.
And that was made very apparent when they were doing that.
Every single person.
But especially when she did that round table talk with all the white ladies in that house.
I hated that one.
I was so frustrated.
Did you think it was a cute doll?
It's okay.
No, it's so cute.
It just looks like it has slanted eyes. I mean, it's no different.
No, it's got the round face. And the lips.
Doll.
No.
I don't know. I don't see a difference.
I worked with Down syndrome kids, so I feel like I can see a difference.
Oh, okay. But
I think they're so cute.
But anyway, okay, that one looks.
I'm sorry. I love them. Coco. Oh God. The white ladies, the Republican.
So there's like Republican women, and they were talking about, it was really frustrating. She's like, I think they're just over-exaggerating. It's not that big of a deal. And she completely dismissed the police officers targeting black people.
Yeah.
And Chelsea was like, what? Like, Chelsea was even, like, taken aback by that.
Because Chelsea has been fighting that since before her Netflix show when she did the original documentaries. The very first thing she highlighted in her Chelsea Does Racism documentary, which was the first one to come out, was she went and she talked to different families whose kids had been shot by the police. Like, she highlighted all of that, and she dove into racism at that time. So she had to have been like, there's no fucking way.
Yes. And that was really just hearing them. And then one other lady is like, well, I think if white people have privilege, people of color, like other people have, like there's black privilege. And there's that sister, well, what's black privilege? It's like, getting into college. And like, are you fucking kidding me?
That was a law that they had to put into place. So
because they were discriminating and not allowing people of color into their fucking school. That's not a privilege. We had to make a law because you weren't playing fair.
Right. In a perfect world, no one would get in based on skin color. We would even ask skin color. And I understand like her thought process, but like she has no idea why affirmative action even took place.
It's necessary.
She was completely ignorant.
She really is. And then like even Chelsea's usually good about, at least from what I've noticed, she just lets them talk and she doesn't argue. But even then, she was like, you don't really think that, do you?
Even then, she was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, like that's fucked.
So what did you think about the last scene, the last person talking on that? Because she kind of like went against her own.
Which?
In the round table of the women.
Oh, with her saying, well, so it's essentially...
She kind of retracts her statement.
Well, it's that whole study, essentially, or that whole mind scenario where you ask a white person, would you ever be black?
Yeah.
And they immediately say no because they know there is injustice, but they don't want to acknowledge it.
Or they can't acknowledge it.
Because
and they talk about this. They talk about white guilt.
Well, and it's one of the things they talked about was white people fear if people of color gain, then they lose.
Yeah.
So in people of color gaining recognition, their voices being heard and recognizing that they're being disproportionately targeted by the police. Because, I mean, statistically, there's no lie. You can see by race, more people of color are incarcerated than white people in America, even though statistically white people are the majority. Mm-hmm. So, like, there's no denying that people of color are targeted more so.
And I don't even think people consciously realize, I genuinely don't think people consciously do this. Now, the women in that group, yes, I think they're ignorant, whatever. But I don't think a majority of white people consciously realize those feelings.
Well, they don't.
That's why you shouldn't say, I'm not racist. I have, 3 black friends.
I
don't.
On your carpet again.
It's fine.
This
carpet is getting torn up eventually.
It's literally a tradition. I think I do it every single time.
Fine. I don't think people realize what they're doing. And I think what I like about this documentary is that they not only touch on white privilege, but they also talk about how it is a white person's problem and that it's not up to people of color to help you feel better about it.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I took away from it the most.
It's the hardest conversation you can have, and I think people who truly aren't racist and genuinely do feel guilt, they don't know how to help, how to react, how to respond, because there is so much negativity against it. They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like Chelsea kind of broke the ice on that.
I hope.
It makes conversations easier when you see her going around. Mm-hmm. Just sitting there watching people attack her.
Well, then also, I think part of this was for comedy's sake, but also part of it was...
that's just her theme.
Well, no. The part I'm talking
for comedy's sake.
Well, I think it was in the sense that not like...
documentary?
Let me explain.
Okay.
So I think part of what she did this was for comedy's sake because you have to laugh at how ignorant these people are.
Not the documentary, though.
No, in the document. No. Just the
parts of it.
Let me get to it, girl. Calm down.
I thought you were saying you thought that the documentary was made for comedic.
No. I said there's parts of it that I really enjoyed, though, when she went to the Oktoberfest and just let those white people talk. Mm-hmm. And, there's specifically one guy who because she was talking about... specifically in Georgia with what happened in the last election and people being taken off the voter registration.
Oh, yeah, that was a big thing for her.
And he was like, well, voting is a privilege, not a right. Yeah. And she's like, no, it is a right. She lost it on him. She's like, no, it is a right. Because it's in the fucking Constitution. Yeah. It is your right as an American to vote.
Yep.
So, it is not a privilege.
French in 9th grade, a biology class told me that. She did, I remember. Somebody asked her, did you vote? And she said, absolutely, that is my right. And I was like, oh.
I need to vote.
Oh, I love her. Yeah.
But no, the other people she interviewed, they were just so ignorant, and it was almost comedic.
And it was in Georgia.
It was in Georgia, of course. It was in Helen. And it was almost comedic how ignorant they were. Because
that for sure was for comedy.
It's just like when somebody says an ignorant comment and you ask them, but why is that funny? And you just make them explain it, and as they explain it, they just look more and more stupid.
And not funny.
Was this, exactly. But the uncomfortableness of watching it was funny to me because it's like, oh my God, these people are just so fucking dumb. But it was also really frustrating because some of them are just outright denying
but it's also
the plight of people of color.
But also it's her way of showing that there are people who ignore these realities.
Absolutely, because they don't want to face the ugly truth.
Yeah.
Because they have this idealized vision of America.
It's too hard.
It's too hard for them to do it. But then she goes to that monument about for the people who were lynched. And talks to them there, and that was...
Did you cry?
I didn't cry.
I had tears in my eyes.
I was sad.
She was talking about it. I was like, I want to go to this monument.
I can't.
I need to.
I cannot.
I have to. I have to. I need to take my
I get
children.
overwhelmed by things like that.
I need to
I went to the Holocaust Museum in high school, and it was the worst experience of my life.
It's my responsibility as a parent.
Girl, you have fun.
It is
I'm glad I'm not a
responsibility.
parent. But they talk to everybody there and get their perspectives on things. And it was a very good conversation starter, I think. I think she did a very great job. I recommended it to both Shartia and Jacqueline at work.
I'm telling you, Chelsea Handler.
It really makes me want to go watch the other documentaries because I still haven't gotten around to it. It's on my list. It's on my watch list.
She's come such a long way, and I know that potential was always there inside of her, but I love that she's positioned herself to make the content she wants to make. because her first step was getting away from the E! Network.
Yeah. Definitely, because that is very much a white-centric...
Everything around that has been political, educational, comedic, absolutely, because that's what she does. That's just her way of dealing with life. You see that in the documentary. She is just a person who tries to laugh at herself more than anyone else. Yeah. I adore this woman.
It made me respect her.
I'm so
a lot
glad
more.
you liked it.
Another thing I really liked. Sorry, I have notes.
Please.
And I don't
talk about her the whole time.
Well, something that both Tiffany Haddish and just one of the speakers that she spoke with brought up with her comment about their history, knowing their history. Exactly. So Tiffany Haddish brought up, well, white people know their history. They know where they came from. Crying. They know where they came from. And we have to do a DNA test to kind of get the idea. But we don't know if we're from Kings or from that. But you all know that because your history is not erased. And another woman talked on the topic that blacks...
there's been privilege since the beginning of time. So we had the luxury of writing things down. Whereas, they didn't.
Well, also, they were taken from their land and their entire history erased because they have no way of tracking down. Okay, I came from these people and these people and these people. Like, I was just taken away.
It's a beautiful
and I was born
monologue.
Here. And she just talks about how black stories are invisible and are erased because history has been whitewashed. And it's so true. Like, so much of what we learn about our history, at least American history, from the American school systems are very, this white guy did this, white guy did that, and he was fantastic. It is my responsibility
as a parent to take my son who's learning about slavery to this monument so I can show him that it's not just stories that it's cool to learn this stuff, but you need to understand how it impacted a whole group of people. Right.
Well, and I get that too. But, I get that. I personally cannot go to that. I totally
understand, but you fight that stuff when you have kids.
Yeah.
The thing that Tiffany Haddish, I was in tears watching it. I had it on in the car and I was listening to it the first time I watched it. And she said, that's why I'm starting my family history now, and it's coming from wealth. And I had tears in my eyes because sure, if you're a sour person and you don't get it and white privilege doesn't exist to you, you cannot ignore that this woman feels this way, and those feelings come from somewhere. And for her to feel like she has no idea how to track down our heritage, where most of the time people do know their heritage, and that she feels like she has to start it now. And Tiffany Haddish's story first of all is amazing to start with, but for someone to vocalize it, put it in those terms and be like, but fuck it, I'm gonna start my heritage now. You can't ignore those feelings.
It was raw. It was very real.
I didn't expect that. And then Kevin Hart, who's usually super, super candid. It opens with Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish, by the way. Kevin Hart, he's usually candid and funny and sarcastic, and I love him.
He annoyed me a little bit.
He was trying to be very political in how he shaped his words.
Yeah, and that's not what probably me. She made that joke about an old man, did a Jewish guy die in you or whatever.
I think he was irritated by the nature of the conversation they were supposed to have, and then that joke happened, because if you saw after that, she stopped.
Okay.
So I think that was him
being like, oh no, we're not joking about this. This is serious.
And what killed me even more is watching it the second time, watching him again, because the first time I listened, the second time I really watched. I did see the moment that Mario's talking about, and I feel like he was right in being irritated because he's not there for a punchline. You told me this was about white privilege, and then even then he had to choose his words so carefully and so respectfully, because white privilege runs the world that he works in.
Yeah.
So and that shit hit me so hard. I was like, he wants the opportunity to talk about it. He doesn't want to joke about it. But then he still 80% can't say whatever the fuck he wanted.
80% of his audience is
and
white America.
And Chelsea can say whatever she wants.
Yeah.
She can throw out a documentary about white privilege and no one's going to say anything. You know what I'm saying? But he has to choose his words carefully because he made a 10-minute appearance in it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought it was a wonderful documentary.
I thought it was amazing. No, I really... I've already recommended it to 2 people. I definitely recommend it. I'm so glad you liked it.
How do you feel about Chelsea Handler now?
I mean, I respect her for doing what she did.
I respect the shit out of Chelsea Handler. I have... I like her humor, and I like that she's a big brassy woman with big tits and comedy. Obviously, that's originally what drew her to me, but she I also like that she doesn't sugarcoat things.
Yeah, she's very blunt.
I appreciate
blunt as a
that.
fucking spoon.
I'm a blunt person, and people don't like that about me, but I prefer to be that way myself. But I just really respect the path she's taken in life, and I kind of feel like there's going to be a follow-up documentary.
I hope so. I feel like this could open up my eyes to being a fan of hers, because I really enjoyed this, so I do want to go back and watch the other things.
Mario's introduced me to so many things that I feel like when Mario likes something I recommend, it's like a big deal.
Oh, I'm glad.
I'm glad you liked it. It's a really good documentary.
It was very good. I was very impressed.
It's very fair to Black and brown people, and it makes fun of white people.
Well,
in a highbrow way.
I will say it was respectful to them in the sense that she's not over here, look at this stupid, ignorant person.
She gave them their moment
She
to
let
speak.
She let them speak, and their own words showed their ignorance. So it's not her adding commentary. It's just her letting their words stand as they are.
She is so smart.
Although I will say the funniest fucking part of the whole thing for me was where she's in Helen, Georgia, and the guy has that "Don't tread on my flag" or "I'll tread on you" shirt or whatever. And what she
I like
says,
it when she called the guy girl. And she's like,
that's the same guy. That's the same guy.
Yes.
And so like she's like, oh yeah, copy that. Yeah, super like, you fucking ignorant
She
asshole.
knows how to play people really, really well.
It was great. I cackled when I saw that part.
I really love her. She's so good. Please, Mario, if you have time, watch the racism.
I'll make time.
The racism one and the drug one are so good.
You should watch the Rachel Dolezal one.
I'll commit if you commit.
I'll commit.
You know that one's hard for me, though. That's third-party embarrassment.
Totally. But it has a lot of good conversation.
I will watch Rachel Dolezal if you watch just those two. Chelsea does.
Yeah.
Racism and the drugs one.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my god.
It's a deal. Shake on it.
I'm so fucking nervous now. So I feel like I'm walking to it all over again. Hold on, let me mark it on my Netflix.
She's just going to be screaming, and Danielle's going to come out like, what's wrong? She's pretending to be black. She's pretending to be black.
Third party embarrassment. Oh my god. I feel bad for the kids.
I do. I feel so bad for the kids, but it's just it's watching a train wreck. You can't look away.
I can. I don't watch train wrecks. What's the name of it?
I don't even remember.
Please tell me it's not on here anymore.
Just look up. No, it's a Netflix original. It's on there. It is on there. Rachel Dolezal. Look.
Okay.
Let me look it up. Well, I can't. I don't. My phone. We're recording.
Rachel. Maybe I spelled Rachel wrong.
Rachel.
Rachel.
D.
Dol.
Make sure to close the door.
Dolezal.
I don't even know how to spell it.
They took it off.
I'm certain it is. That's not how you spell her name. Just Google Rachel Dolezal documentary Netflix.
Okay.
And if not, you dodged a fucking bullet. No.
Hold on.
It's fascinating to watch. I do not agree.
The Rachel Divide.
Maybe that's it.
The Rachel Divide.
Because, like, Netflix, people were mad about it, and Netflix, like, we did not pay her. We never pay the subjects of our documentary.
I bet they... Oh, there it is.
There it is. Add it.
I added it.
So, we should have that conversation, too.
About what?
Rachel Dolezal, because you've been wanting to talk about Rachel Dolezal.
I do want to talk about Rachel Dolezal, but I feel like my opinions are going to be very... I'm going to be crucified the way that...
Like, you're cool with that?
While it's not dismissive, it just comes from a very scientific perspective. And I'm happy to get into that conversation. I would love to. I want people to stay open-minded to the way that my brain works, because it's the same thing that happened with Neil deGrasse Tyson and his comments after the shooting.
Right.
And I completely agreed with his tweet. And it was ill-timed and it was rude. And but I understand where he was coming from, what he was trying to say. Because people's intentions are important.
I understand what you mean by scientifically, like what defines white, what defines black, whatever. But societally, it's not acceptable because she doesn't.
I get it. Rachel Dolezal does not deserve any of my time. I just like the conversation that she sparked between me and my sister-in-law.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, back to Chelsea. we totally got sidetracked on that.
White woman totally sparked a conversation about cultural appropriation, so I fucking love Chelsea Handler.
I totally am here for it. I highly recommend it. Watch it on Netflix. Let us know what you think.
I recommend it, but you need to watch it with someone who you feel very safe with. I did not.
Or has really big titties you can hide in.
No, she was just a good hiding place, but I didn't feel protected.
I'm just over here laughing at them the entire fucking time.
Literally, all I hear is words. Are you fucking going down on her? Absolutely. I feel safe.
She was in that coochie.
It was safe, and it was warm, and it protected me from the elements.
Stop.
I needed to be able to cover my eyes and ears at the same time during that part. I didn't want to hear, like, the spider scuttling.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do it.
It was good.
Everything else, I just buried my face in her chest, and it was fine.
It was.
Brooke is a
Incredible.
great person. So comfortable. Her boobs are amazing. Mine are, like, saggy. Hers are, like, full and soft and, like, I don't know. She's got great boobs.
She does.
She really does.
Love you, Brooke.
Thank you for letting me hide in your vagine.
But with that being said, please like, rate, and review us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, all that jazz. Email us if you have any comments, if you want to tell us what you thought about it, Chapter 2, or what you thought about Hello Privilege. My name's Chelsea. Mm-hmm. Let us know what you thought. We really enjoyed it. We really thought it was... I feel it was eye-opening in a sense that I think it can spark a good conversation.
And it's okay to take criticism. I feel like
is.
that's the other thing is people don't want to take criticism, and Chelsea takes it with a grain of salt.
No, she did well. She did very well. But thanks for listening. We'll see you all next week, where we don't know what we're talking about yet, but we'll figure it out.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.